Applause for Sigarmoli Dance by Adelia. Adelia is the student of Pamulang University. Well, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sebuah karya dari Dr. Iwayan Mustika MH. Tarian ini memiliki
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Excellency Professor Dr. Susilo Widodo, Chairman of Indonesia Nuclear Society Association. Good morning. The distinguished Rector of Pamulang University, Dr. Enur Zaman, AM, MM, MSI, along with the Vice Rectors. The distinguished our plenary speakers, Dr. Suichi Siratori, Associate Professor in Faculty of Medicine, Siriraj Hospital, Mahidol University, Thailand. Professor Dr. Suhartati Gondo Wiarjo, SP Ongrat, K, Chairman of Indonesian Radiation Oncology. Ms. Lufimina G. Lanuza, Development of Strategic Plan for the Establishment of Radiation Facility, International Atomic Energy Agency, Philippines. Dr. Lee Min Cho, Chairman of Korea Nuclear Association or KNA. Good morning. Mr. Bob S. Effendi MBA, Chief of Operating Officer of Torcon Power Indonesia Company. And the Honorable Moderator, guests, presenters, and participants, college, and all respected participants. It is our privilege to welcome you to the Iconsta and Iset 2023 in conjunction with the second HIMNI annual meeting and Pamulang University Conference today, Tuesday the 5th December 2023. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and merciful, all praises to the Almighty for His blessing that we are now attending this most anticipated occasion in the hybrid conference to embrace the Iconsta 2023 International Conference on Nuclear Science, Technology, and Application in conjunction with the second HIMNI annual meeting and Pamulang University Conference on Interdisciplinary Science, Engineering, and Technology or Iset 2023 with the conference theme Promoting Nuclear Science, Technology, and Application for a Prosperous Future. Ladies and gentlemen, This international conference is a great collaboration with and organized by Indonesia Nuclear Society Association or HEMNI, Pamulang University, Nuclear Energy Research Organization, Association for Radiation Protection of Indonesia, and National Research Innovation Agency. This conference also supported by Tokon Power, Gamma Mitra Lestari, Nuklindo Lab, and NutriLab Pratama. It is also broadcast live streaming on Sasmita Jaya TV official. My name is Eka Margianti as your master of ceremony. I'm guiding you until the first session of this conference. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's start our agenda by reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to roll call our agenda today. The first is opening ceremony, singing Indonesian national anthem, opening remark, opening and inauguration speech, plenary speech, parallel session, closing for the first day. So, ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is singing Indonesia national anthem. Our conductor, Miss Amelia Sari, will conduct this session. All audiences, kindly please stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia National Anthem, Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated, and thank you. Well, the next agenda is opening remark by Chair of Iconsta 2023. Please welcome Dr. Tita Puspita Sari.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everybody. On behalf of the organizing committee, I warmly welcome all distinguished guests, keynote speaker, and participant of the International Conference of Nuclear Science, Technology and Application 2023, Iconsta 2003, we call it. This event will be held today and tomorrow, 5 and 6 December 2023, in the teleconference and parlor room of the Pamulang University, South Tangerang, Banten. The Iconsta 2023 is organized by the Indonesian Nuclear Society, HIMNI, in collaboration with the Research Organization for Nuclear Energy, the National Research and Innovation Agency of Indonesia, and the Indonesian Radiation Protection Association, and also the Pamulang University. This event also in conjunction with the second HIMNI annual meeting and Pamulang University Conference on Interdisciplinary Science, Engineering and Technology, or we call it Iset 2023. We are pleased to see the participation of many senior researchers, engineers, academic, government officers, practitioners, and social science from various professional backgrounds, along with more than 1,000 engineering graduate, actually, engineering graduate students here. They are attending by virtual or online. The steering committee and organizing committee of the Iconsta 2023 have agreed to enlarge the covered subject of the conference to include nuclear science, nuclear technology and application, nuclear safety, security and management, and in this interdisciplinary science, engineering and technology. We want to express our gratitude to all the keynote speakers from the IAEA, the Korean Nuclear Association, Torcon in the Indonesia Power, the Indonesian Radiation Oncology Society, the Indonesian Society of Nuclear Medicine, Pamulang University, and the Indonesian Nuclear Society. We also would like to express our thanks to all paper submitters. We plan to publish the review paper with two options. First, in the globally indexed proceeding, and the second one, and the second one in the International Journal for Nuclear Science and Technology. This covered SINTA 2, managed by HIMNI. So you are welcome to choose this option, as the number of registered paper in this year is about 10 papers for both. The Iconsta 2023 allows our presenter and participant to take a slightly longer time for a deeper discussion of the subject of the presentation in their respective session. On this occasion, we are delighted to acknowledge the steering committee, chairman of HIMNI, head of the ORTN BRIN, chairman of the APRI, and rector of Pamulang University that have entrusted us as the organizing committee. For this event, we are also expressing our gratitude to those who have contributed as sponsor for support this event. Without your contribution, this event may not have happened. Finally, we sincerely hope all participants will have an interesting and productive meeting with fruitful interaction and discussion. We apologize for any inconvenience and shortcomings in organizing the conference. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ibu Dr. Tita. Well, ladies and gentlemen, respected audience, all presenters and also researchers, the next agenda is welcome speech by Dr. Susilo Widodo, the chairman of HIMNI, or Indonesia Nuclear Society Association. Dr. Susilo, microphone is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat pagi, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Rahayu. Distinguished conference participants, ladies and gentlemen, I would mention here Bapak Rektor Universitas Pamulang, our distinguished keynote speaker. I can see here Prof. Suartati, then Dr. Lee and Dr. Kim. It is very easy to remember the keynote speaker from Korea because it's either Lee or Dr. Kim. It's very much. And also our guest from agency. Thank you for your coming to Indonesia and welcome in the small city of Pamulang, but have the big university like Universitas Pamulang, as you can see here. I would like also to extend a warm welcome to all participants of this international conference of nuclear science, technology and application, Iconsta 2023. This year, the Indonesian Nuclear Society is collaborating with the Research Organization for Nuclear Energy, National Research and Innovation Agency of Indonesia, and also with the Indonesian Radiation Protection Association and Pamulang University to hold the Iconsta 2023 in conjunction with second HIMNI annual meeting and technology and Pamulang, and international conference on interdisciplinary science, engineering, and technology. HIMNI is committed to continue the Iconsta, which was originally initiated by Batan and then BRIN, and as an annual meeting forum for research, researcher and professional and other nuclear community, especially Indonesia as well as in regionally or internationally. The theme of this conference is nuclear technology in achieving sustainable development goal. Iconsta 2023 is a forum to facilitate and provide a platform for academic, researcher, student, engineer, government official, and the general public to communicate and share the latest progress of the research, to share their achievement and practical experiences, and to discuss current and future strategies and challenges related to nuclear science and technology and application. It is hoped that this conference will provide insight to younger generation to continue the spirit of utilizing nuclear science and technology for peaceful use and improving social welfare. The Iconsta 2023 also a forum for exploring possible synergies between nuclear science and technology and other non-nuclear science and technologies. The Iconsta 2023 is attended by about, it's more than 200 attendants here, on-site participants, and I believe more than 1,000 online participants through Zoom meeting, and we will present about 40 papers on the topic of nuclear science and technology, and about 30 manuscript paper on non-nuclear science and technology, on engineering. The selected the accepted for all paper will be accepted for publication after peer-reviewed by editor team and reviewer, and maybe there are also the selected the best paper which will be published in Atom Indonesia. We congratulate to all participants. We wish you all the best and hope you can exchange the idea during the conference, establish friendship and good collaboration each other, and we hope we all had a very productive session. Finally, we would like to thank all members of the steering committee, organizing committee, member of the editorial team and reviewer, as well as our thanks also to all parties who have provided support and financial assistance for the success of this conference. Last but not least, I would very thank to the rector of Pamulang University for providing this beautiful room and all facilities free. Thank you once again for Pamulang University. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Pak Susilo Widodo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our respected audience in teleconference, Zoom platform, and also live streaming YouTube. The next agenda is we come to the opening and inaugurating speech by Rector of Pamulang University. Please welcome Dr. E. Nur Zaman, AM, MM, MSc.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our campus here. The Honorable Chairman of the HIMNI, Mr. Dr. Susilo Widodo, the Honorable Dr. Suichi Shiroti, Pinodal University, and the Honorable Professor Dr. Suhartati Gondowiarjo, Indonesian Radiation Oncology, the Honorable Mr. Luvinia J. Lauzan from Philippines, the Honorable Dr. Lee Min Choel, Korean Nuclear Association, the Honorable Bob S. Effendi, MBA, Torcon Power Indonesian Company, the Honorable Professor Muhtaridi, PhD, as a moderator, and also the Honorable Insinyur Ari Rahmadi, Engineering, as a moderator, and our college Vice Rector of Pamulang University, Deans, Head of Project Study Program, Lecturer, and the teacher, and also our students who are already here. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for your coming here to Pamulang University. As you know that Pamulang University is the one of the private university with the biggest student in Indonesia. We have about more than 80,000 students and supported by more than 2,000 lecturers for very good study here. We are very happy to have you all to participate in the conference, International Conference on Nuclear Science, Technology and Application 2023. This program is collaboration between HIMNI's second annual meeting and Pamulang University on interdisciplinary science, engineering, and technology. We hope this collaboration can bring great benefit for both sides, our institution Unpam University and also HIMNI. In other words, we can create a win-win collaboration for our activities. To all of the audience, especially our students from Unpam who joining this conference, kindly pay attention for this conference seriously, so you can widen your knowledge and also you can get the skill for this conference. With the name of Allah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, officially this conference be open. We hope we can get a success as much as possible. And thank you very much. Good luck for all of you to get great success. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Thank you, Pak Rektor. Please kindly remain the same stage. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, opening and inaugurating this program speech symbolizes that this international conference is officially open. For the next is photo session. We kindly invite all the plenary speakers and also invited guests to come forward to have a photo session. Pak Widodo, Prof. Mukhtaridi, Ibu Wakil Rektor, and also Ibu Ketua, the chair of the conference, and also all the speakers. Please welcome at the stage with Pak Rektor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will have two kinds of photo session. The first session will be all the presenters and all invited guests here, and then the second, that will be vice versa. So I would like to everybody stand up after this photo session. A second, please. Yeah. Okay, cheers, smile. Yeah. Yeah, different style? Okay. Yeah, for the next photo session, everybody could you please stand up and Bapak Ibu, yeah, vice versa. Kita menghadap ke belakang. Alright. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, we will have one session for photo and one session for video. And then I would like to invite everybody to shout like yell, yell. If I say Pamulang University, share for the nation. But later on after this photo session. Alright, everybody please stand up. Yeah. Okay, video. Ladies and gentlemen, if I say Pamulang University, you may say share for the nation. Ready? All right. Mas Dewo, ready? Pamulang University, share for the nation. Pamulang University, share for the nation. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. And I would like to invite Dr. Tita and Dr. Susilo, Dr. Nur Zaman, and Mr. Kim Jo-hak, Director of KNA, to have a press conference. We would like Pak Rektor, we would like to invite Pak Rektor, Ibu Dr. Tita, Dr. Susilo, and also Mr. Kim Jae-hak, Director of KNA, to have a press conference at the front of teleconference. Thank you. Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, attention please. We would like to start our agenda from Teleconference Universitas Pamulang to hold a plenary session. Yeah, all right. I would like to say hi to the students who are attending this conference in Zoom meeting. Hello. So the operator, can you show the, okay, hello everyone in Zoom meeting. Yeah, we hope that you will enjoy following this conference. Yeah, we have more than 900 audience. Wow. Wow, very enthusiastic conference. We have 905 participants from Zoom meeting, and also perhaps in live streaming YouTube, Sasmita Jaya TV official. All right, say hi everybody in Zoom meeting. Could you please show your hands? Hi. Okay, we welcome you to this conference and happy to see you all in this big screen in teleconference. So we hope that you will enjoy this conference. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we continue our agenda to plenary speech in day one. It is delightful to have the plenary speakers. The first plenary speech are Dr. Suichi Siratori, Associate Professor in Faculty of Medicine, Siriraj Hospital, Mahidol University, Thailand. And then the second presenter, Professor Dr. Suhartati Gondo Wiarjo SPOng Radke, Chairman of Indonesian Radiation Oncology or PORI. The third, Ms. Luffy Mina Jilanuza, Development of Strategic Plan for the Establishment of Radiation Facility, International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, Philippines. And this session will be moderated by Professor Apotheker Mukhtaridi, PhD, Head of Pharmaceutical Analysis and Medicinal Chemistry Department. But before I invite Professor Mukhtaridi, let me read the curriculum vitae from Professor Mukhtaridi, PhD. Name, Professor Apotheker Mukhtaridi, PhD. Is that correct, Prof? Thank you. Date of place of birth, Palembang, June, blah, blah, blah. Position, Head of Department. Affiliation, Pharmaceutical Analysis and Medicinal Chemistry Department. Expertise, drug discovery, delivery, and development from natural product, pharmaceutical analysis for natural product, compounds for cancer and chemotherapy. Address, blah, blah, blah. Age index corpus, 19. Age index scholars, 26. Age index WOS, 14. Education, graduated from Universitas Pajajaran, field pharmacy, and also for doctoral at University Science Malaysia, majoring pharmaceutical technology. His experience in organization, very good organization, and also research grants in the last 5 years, and also following with the community service. Publication in the last 10 years with Age Index 27 scholars and 19 scopus. International Journal and International Journal and National Accreditation Journal for the last 10 years. Scientific meetings as a speaker in the last 5 years. Reviewer and editor for journal. Editor journal experience and research proposal, including patent and book teaching materials in the last 5 years. Wow, amazing, Prof. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the moderator, Professor Apotheker Mukhtaridi, PhD, Head of Pharmaceutical Analysis and Medicinal Chemistry Department. Microphone is yours, Prof.
Okay, it's my time. Thank you to Master of Ceremony. As mentioned from MC, my name is Mukhtaridi. You call me Utai. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this plenary session on Iconsta 2023 in conjunction with second HIMNI annual meeting and Pamulang University conference. Of course, first of all, I would like to thank the committee for trusting me to be chairman for this session. So, as you know, this topic of this session is about application of nuclear technology for the health. We have three of important plenary speakers. The first, Dr. Suichi Siratori, I think I know you, from Faculty of Medicine, Siriraj Hospital, Mahidol University, and original from Japan. I think you know well Professor Arano and Tomoya O'Hara, of course, my colleagues. Okay, the second professor, Dr. Suhartati Gondowiarjo, specialist oncologist, radiologist consultant. Okay, and third plenary speaker, Ms. Luvimina Lanuza. Okay, so I inform you we will discuss and question and answer later after listening from the three speakers in this session. Okay, before the presentation begins, let me read the short curriculum vitae from the speakers. The first, Dr. Suichi Siratori. He is associate professor from Department of Radiology, Faculty of Medicine, Siriraj Hospital, Mahidol University, Bangkok, Thailand. PhD was obtained from Graduate School of Siba University. Professor Anu, your supervisor, yeah. Okay, his working field in theranostic in nuclear medicine, brain imaging in neuroscience. And second plenary speaker is Professor Dr. Suhartati Gondowiarjo, specialist oncologist, radiologist, consultant. She is full professor in Faculty of Medicine, University of Indonesia. She is also working in Cipto Mangunkusumo Hospital. Doctor degree was obtained from same university in 1998. Oncologist and radiologist specialist consultant were obtained from University of Indonesia 1987, 1989 respectively. She also is founder of Indonesian Radiation Oncology. Very amazing, yeah. I think there are many extraordinary experiences that we already know, but we cannot be mentioned one by one here. Okay, the third plenary speaker from Philippines, Mrs. Luvimina Lanuza. She's from Philippines, of course. She has specialists on radiation processing and high dose dosimetry. She has working experience on radiation almost 20 years, isn't it? Amazing. She has been head irradiation services section, Nuclear Service Division Philippines Nuclear Research Institute from 2009 until 2020. So, and she also worked as national counterpart IAEA project of Philippines. Now she is consultant establishment of 10 mega electron 4 facility project irradiation solution. Okay, without further ado, I would like to welcome our presenter to start presentation. So I would like to welcome our first presenter already here. He will deliver a presentation about toward theranostic radiopharmaceutical for prostate cancer and neuroendocrine tumor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Suichi Shiratori. Time is yours.
Selamat pagi. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Suichi Shiratori. So today I would like to thank the Iconsta and Iset 2023 for invitation me to have a big stage here. This is my great pleasure, and this is my first time in Indonesia. So I'm very happy to be here, and I would like to share my experience on theranostic. Please, okay. So the theranostic is the newest know-how and technology in nuclear medicine. So may I have a slide, please? Okay, while waiting the slide, I would like to introduce the theranostic. In this century, the field of nuclear medicines have got a new advanced technology as a theranostic, because we have to conquer the cancer treatment. So my topic today is toward the theranostic radiopharmaceuticals for the prostate cancer and neuroendocrine tumor. Okay, next slide, please. Next, yes. In the field of nuclear medicine, now we are in the era of theranostic. So I would like to introduce theranostic as a glance. This terminology was proposed about 20 years ago by combination of two words. It's combined from the therapeutic and diagnostic as one word. The concept is very simple, as we treat what we see, and then we see what we treat. We treat what we see means we have to imaging where is the cancer located in the body. And then the second, we change the radiopharmaceutical for the treatment and go to the same point of the imaging. So we treat what we see first. We have to see it first, and then we can treat it. And we treat it in many cycles. After that, we can monitoring the result or evaluate the result of treatment by imaging again. So this means we see what we treat. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. With the principle, we have two kinds of the radionuclide to bind or labeling into the same ligand, and the ligand will go specifically direct to the target or the cancer. So at the ligand, we can have two types of radionuclide. The first one for diagnostic purpose, we can use technetium 99M for SPECT imaging, or fluorine 18 or gallium 68 for PET imaging. And after we can imaging, we can know the location of the tumor exactly in the body. After that, we can change the radionuclide into the therapeutic purpose. We can have a beta emitter as a lutetium-177 or rhenium-188, and alpha emitter as an actinium-225. This is the concept, what we use in theranostic radiopharmaceuticals. Okay, and next slide, I will show you the first generation of the theranostic that we have already success in somewhere in the world, like in Europe and somewhere in Southeast Asia. So the first generation of theranostic, we will success with two types of cancer. The first one is prostate cancer, and the second is neuroendocrine tumor. So next slide, please. Next, please. Okay. The first one, I would like to share the prostate cancer. Prostate cancer is the second common cancer in the worldwide in men, and the early diagnosis is very important, and now we can change the therapeutic management. And right now, it's possible to be cured 100% because we have the specific target. Please click. Here. The specific target called PSMA. Please click the slide, please. I'm sorry, I'll make an animation. Okay. Yes, on the prostate cancer, there is a specific target called PSMA. PSMA is come from the prostate-specific membrane antigen. So as you see, this is the normal prostate cancer. When the prostate cancer become enlargement or got the prostate cancer cell, the PSMA receptor will be expressed in the cancer cell like overexpressed. Next, please. Okay, next, please. Click, please. Yes. This is the imaging of the protein of receptor. It starts from the endocellular and through the membrane and have a big domain on extracellular. Inside there, this is small receptor. This is called PSMA. Next, please. Yes, next, please. Next and next. Okay. At first, we have the antibody to bind to this receptor. It's called, the name is J591, and the PSMA will overexpress in the high-grade tumor and also metastatic to the bone. Next, please. Yeah. Until now, we have we try to imaging this cancer by using the various type of tracer. We start from the FDG. This is not work so well because prostate cancer have a low metabolism, so it's not uptake so much of FDG. And we change to FACBC. This is not work as well to add choline, and this is the huge compound. But finally, we can have a technology to change the to modify the structure of the antibody that I mentioned in previous slide. And now we have the very small molecule, this one. This one can bind to the specific receptor of the cancer cell. The name we call the PSMA11. And then we can put the gallium-68 here to trace where the cancer is. Next, please. Yes, as I mentioned before, from the huge molecule of antibody, we can modify into the small molecule in these three groups. But right now, we found that the best one is the urea-based small molecule like this. So, or this is the ligand we use in this moment. Next, please. So the development of the prototype of PSMA version 617 is start from 2012, and until now they got the approval from the FDA for the treatment of the prostate cancer. So now this is the first official treatment compound as a PSMA 617. Next, please. Right now, there are a lot of choices to use. For diagnosis, we can use the gallium or fluorine labeling with a PSMA version 11 or INT. For the fluorine 18, we have PSMA 1007, and this is the new one that just have been approved by FDA as well for the diagnosis. And for the therapy, as I mentioned in previous slide, lutetium-177 PSMA 617 is already approved. We have another version for the INT, and if the beta emitter does not work well, we can change to the actinium-225 and binding to the same ligand like this. So as a limited time, so I would like to show you some result. Next, please. Oh, sorry. Before that, this is the labeling method that I use. The preparation is quite similar. For diagnosis, we use only 20 microgram of the PSMA peptide. And for the treatment, we increase the amount to 125 microgram with the buffer and adding the radionuclide. Then we can heat it up to 100 for 20 minutes and cool down to temperature, and then filtrate to the 0 to 2 micron and make it dilute to the solution for treatment or diagnosis. This is a very simple method that you can do it as well in Indonesia, and I believe some centers in Indonesia have already started this process. Next, please. The quality control is also simple. We just check the pH. Normally it's about 5.5. You can use the paper or the pH meter. For the TLC, you can follow this system, and this system can separate with the good RF value. You can see the percent labeling. And of course, we are following by the European Pharmacopoeia version 10. The endotoxin test and sterility tests are strongly recommended to perform, but you need not to perform in every batch because this is already established. But in my center, I perform every batch. Okay, next, please. For the pre-treatment, we have some process before. At first, we have to confirm all data of the clinical lab data is confirmed, and then we take the ondansetron 8 milligram before the treatment. And the normal uptake will be shown in the saliva gland, palliative gland, and lacrimal. So we need to cool down the saliva gland and palliative gland here by the ice pack 30 minutes before injection, and also recommend after injection to reduce the biochemical process of the normal binding, and inject slowly. And finally, we recommend to use a furosemide 40 milligram to accelerate the metabolism and with a urine elimination. Next, please. Yeah, this is, I would like to, actually we have more than 1,000 cases in my center, and I'm pick up some result. This is the result of lutetium-177 PSMA INT. You can see the, for the first hour, 24 hour, and 7 day, the accumulation can be, you can see increase here, and here, and here. Okay, next please. This case is the good example of MCRPC with multiple lymph node and bone metastasis. Before the treatment, we found the PSA number is about 68 with this imaging, and we treat one dose of lutetium-177 PSMA, 150 microcurie. This means the weight of patient is about 60 kilograms. And after that, we can follow by the imaging again. So you can see that this point becomes shrinked, smaller, and this area is also smaller. Then we repeat the second dose, and we found that the PSA level from 68 reduced until about 4, and the lesion is significantly reduced. Next, please. This case is also impressive because at the start you can see a lot of lesion of metastasis with a PSA about 224, 25 with a, and this is the first treatment and the second treatment, and the PSA level reduced about 1/3, and you can see the lesion is reduced from origin before the treatment. Next, please. This slide is from, sorry, I have trained in Germany in 2000, about 2018 something. So this is the result that show the result that I have been there at that time. They used the actinium-225 PSMA in 2014, the result before I go there, with a 3 cycle, and this show very clear lesion in the body with a very low PSA level. Next, please. This is also the 3 cycle of actinium-225 PSMA, and we found significant reducing lesion of the metastasis. And next, please. Yeah, this one is also very impressive with 3 cycle of actinium-225 in PSMA. In case we can follow more than 3 cycle, but so at right now, how many cycles, there is no exactly number. It's up to the response of the patient, and we can adjust and follow by the result. Next, please. Because of the limited time, I would like to move to the next tumor. This is neuroendocrine tumor, or NET. Neuroendocrine tumor is a tumor from the neuroendocrine cells that have a non-specific symptom, and mostly found in abdominal pain, cough, diarrhea, and
3 minutes more.
So mostly we found in the lung and in the intestine, small and large intestine. Luckily, we found a specific receptor on neuroendocrine tumor. This is somatostatin receptor. Next, please. In the somatostatin receptor, we have there are 5 subtypes, as from subtype 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The major subtype is subtype 2, and in the subtype 2, there are 2 types as well, the sub 2A and 2B. This is the characteristic of the receptor, and when binding to the somatostatin, they have in this way, and if they bind to agonist, the reaction will be not similar. For example, for the subtype 3 from the 1 unit can be the dimer. Next, please.
Excuse me, doctor.
Sorry?
2 minutes more.
Sorry.
The time almost finished.
Oh, okay.
2 minutes more.
Yes. And from the development, we start from the somatostatin receptor. That's 2 types, 28 and 14. We use the 14 as a prototype to develop. Next, please. Yes, this is all the ligand we have. We developed from the somatostatin 14, and we take it in small volume like a mimic structure into the 8 amino acid, and we the position 1, 3, 6, and 8 we can substitute with various types of amino acid and can have many types of ligand. Next, please. Okay, in this ligand, right now we have 4 types. It's a DOTA-TOC is specific for subtype 5, DOTA-NOC specific for subtype 3 and 5, and the major subtype is subtype 2. We use the DOTA-TATE and HA-DOTA-TATE. Next, please. For the labeling process, it's similar to pre-SMA. We use the same amount of the peptide and same temperature, and something changed is for the treatment, we have to dilute to 50 milliliter. Next, please. The QC process is also same to the last radiopharmaceutical. Next, please. Before the treatment, the amino acid is very, very important, and this is how we prepare. We use the lysine 25 gram and arginine 25 gram mixed together in 1 liter of normal saline. Next, please. Yeah, the pre-treatment is similar to prostate cancer, but the difference is we have to use the amino acid solution prepared in the previous slide like this, and slow injection. Also, we have strong. Yes, and next, please. This is the result showing for the diagnosis case. You can find a small region here and here located the neuroendocrine tumor. Yeah, this is the PET CT slide. Next, please. This is the major case of the neuroendocrine tumor in our center. You can see the PET imaging. There are 2 big lesions in the liver, the large massive cancer here, and this one located beside the main blood vessel, so it's impossible to be operation. After 4 cycles, you can see this lesion is already gone, and the big masses become shrinker. In this case, can be operated and take this cancer out. Okay, next, please. In summary, the theranostic platform is a new option in cancer treatment, but it's not yet in the standard method. The theranostic need a good team work because this is multidisciplinary team. Until that, we are success with the first generation of prostate cancer and neuroendocrine tumor, and this provides a certified result and quality of life of the patient. In the next episode, the second generation, we are target to the more than 20 types of solid tumor. Thank you for your attention.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. Very interesting. However, the time is limited. Okay. Please be seated in here, Dr.
Yes.
Dr. Suichi.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. The second speaker, please welcome Professor Dr. Suhartati Gandowiarjo, specialist oncologist, radiologist, consultant. She will talk about current development on nuclear science, technology, and application on radiation oncology. Time is yours, Prof. The time only 30 minutes. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam sehat bagi kita semua. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thanks to the organizing committee on Ibu Tita as well as for the HIMNI for inviting me to be here, and it's a great honor for me. So. It's not yet shared, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is my slide. So the topic that is given to me is quite wide, but I try, as it is mentioned by the moderator, that I try to be finished in 30 minutes. So I'm Suhartati Gandowiarjo. I am a radiation oncologist from Jakarta, Indonesia. And as we know, let's start our talk today reminding us about how important is nuclear science and technology in our daily practice. You can see here that it will be involved in the production of energy, water, agriculture, and others. And in the next 30 minutes, I will talk about what is the role of nuclear energy in human health. We use the electromagnetic wave with a certain wavelength that if it is passed the biological materials, it will do the ionization, and with that we treat the patient, especially the cancer patient. That's so-called the radiotherapy. It's one of the treatment modality using ionizing beam, especially for cancer treatment. But we are not using only the using only the electromagnetic wave as the so-called the photon, but we use also the particles. There are two particles right now can be used for the treatment of the radiotherapy. One is the proton with the mass. The size of the mass is 1, and the carbon ion and the size of the carbon ice is itself. We will talk about this later, but you can see that not only the benefit from the nuclear energy, but also there is a harm about the radiation exposure. But we can prevent the harm using the proper protection, since we have a lot of books, guidance about the radiation safety from the IAEA as well as from the WHO. So the beam, the photon of the proton will be delivered to the body, a part of the body, and we will kill the cells, in that area. And how it can be killed, the cells in that area, through the process called the radiation cell death process, and the target is the DNA. And there are different type of DNA damage due to the irradiation, but not will make the cell dead. Some of the damage of the DNA can be completely repaired, so it can continue the proliferation. But if it cannot be completely repaired, so it will go to the so-called the apoptosis. Apoptosis is so-called the programmed cell death. So by the time the cell will dead. And it is interesting, this is the news, recently evidence showed that not only an area, the cell within the area of the target will be killed by the irradiation, but through the so-called the abscopal effect, basically based on the immune system activation, it will also kill the cells outside of the target. That's interesting. If somebody interested about that, we can discuss about that later. And as we know that irradiation is odorless, tasteless, and colorless, but the effect of irradiation is long life. That's the reason why the therapeutic ratio become a very important. The therapeutic ratio is with one dose, we can attach a higher number of cell tumor without disturbing the normal cells. So the next is about the milestone evaluation of radiotherapy. We know that the evolution of radiotherapy is in line with the imaging. When they do the 2D, we do also the 2D irradiation. When they do the 3D CT MRI, we do also the 3D radiotherapy, as well as when they do the 4D. But the main function of the imaging is to find the target. You can see here is the target, and what is the function of radiotherapy is to sculpt, to shape the beam. You can imagine beam is like that, but we have to sculpt the beam become exactly like the target. And nowadays it is possible with the technique so-called the intensity modulated radiotherapy. And we have also to face the problem of movement of the target. You know, like lung is movement, as well as also using the biological imaging, we can find so-called the heterogeneity within the tumor. We have to face all this problem. And there are three kinds of approach in the medicine, so-called based on symptom. That's not right to do, so-called the institution treatment. But the second one is the cohort base. It is the evidence base. That's one that we have to do. But right now, they start to grow so-called the precision medicine. It's booming right now. What is the precision medicine? Is the treatment that with Google, the right treatment in the right target in the right time, using all the information of the individual information from the patient, included the disease as well as the genetic as well the environment. That's so-called the precision medicine. And actually, radiotherapy is already employed that principle, because as I mentioned before, we always try to target the right, to deliver the beam to the right target. We will see how can we do it. First is assessment of the patient and make the decision to treat. We do it, of course, expertise from the expert and also all the information from the patient, and sometimes we need the meeting. And the second is we prescribe the treatment protocols as well as the immobilization and positioning. Remember, irradiation is not given only one time, but given in the several times, sometimes until 40 times. So it have to be immobilized in the right way. For the immobilization, there is some immobilization equipment that is used right now. And also we use for the positioning, uses the laser. And also I have a bit fast because of the time. Then the treatment information and patient setup and treatment delivery. That's a long way when we want to do just only a treatment in one patient. So just want to show you an example. What is the 2D, what is the 3D, what is the so-called the intensity modulated radiotherapy is one jump in technology. Let's say this is dose scalping. As I mentioned, dose scalping, we have to scalp the beam exactly become like a target. For example, this is the target in the real situation. If we do the 2D, so we cannot achieve the good therapeutic ratio, which is there is a distance between the effect of the normal tissue due to the irradiation and the target tumor. But when we do the IMRT, you can see with the very good conformity index, the green one is the target and the blue one is the beam. The dose of irradiation can be exactly like the target. That's that we have to achieve. So we can do it through the IMRT, intensity modulated radiotherapy, which is we can control the irradiation exactly to the target that we want to kill. Yeah, and then the next we have so-called the VMAT, just only to make the process faster. This is the radiotherapy equipment. It is moving around the patient, and inside there is a collimator. The collimator also moving. So it is a very complicated process just to sculpt the beam exactly become a good conformity with the target. Okay, so the missile, the irradiation is ready. We have already sculpted, but where do we have to skip? Then there is something so-called the cone beam CT. It is something that built in the radiotherapy equipment. Then we do, and it will move around the patient, and we do it before the patient is irradiated. So this is like this, the CT done by the cone beam, and CT, this one is the CT done by the plan. By do the fusion between two CT, we know exactly that we will deliver the beam exactly to the target. And I think this not really, there is one other important like a cone beam CT, but we can do it in real time. So using the stereotactic X-ray verification as well as optical thermal verification, but it is still not yet in Indonesia. So with all this capability, we can do so-called the stereotactic body radiotherapy. Usually, conventionally, we do the irradiation in 20 times until 40 times. But with this technique, because this is with very high precise irradiation, we do it in only in 5 to 10 fraction with high dose per fraction. So it really have to very high precision. This is how we treat the patient. And even we can do like this. This is a stereotactic radiosurgery, so-called the X-knife. We irradiate only one time, but X, Y, Z, exactly the location, and the patient is immobilized with some semi-invasive, so cannot be moved. So we irradiate only one time. And with the advanced technology, so-called with the Olineck, one of the models is tomotherapy or Radixac. We can do like this. We can, how can you imagine? We can irradiate the skull, but without disturbing the brain inside. And we can also, for example, irradiate the brain, but we avoid the hippocampal area. Hippocampal area is the area that will influence the quality of life of the patient. Or we can irradiate, for example, the patient with the medulloblastoma, the pediatric patient, from the brain until the end of the spine. This is the equipment. You can see that the equipment is a bit different compared with the other linear oscillator. Then we move to the 4D. With the 4D, you can see that we can see the movement of the target. What we can do is these two types. First, if the so-called the ITV technique, we include the movement, and the second is the gated. So we only irradiate it when the target come inside the field of irradiation. We can do it also already in Indonesia. The next is when what we discussed already is guided by the CT, but this time is guided by the MRI. You can imagine that it is very complicated, but I know that you have at the Emerlinac in Siriraj, because I visited one. Yeah, and the benefit of this, we can do the verification online and real time. And it can be adapt also real time. We can change the field based on the situation of the tumor. That's the benefit of the Imarlinex. Be careful. It's tasteless, cannot be touched, cannot be smelled. That's irradiation. So we have to have a radiation safety culture using the multi-layered accidents prevention. And now we move to the brachytherapy. What is the brachytherapy? Brachytherapy is the source of irradiation will be close to the target or will be put inside the target. Like this, we can do it intraluminary, put it in the cavity, or we inject it like this. And all we do also with the guidance of the CT. Now we move to the so-called the intraoperative radiotherapy. Intraoperative radiotherapy, we put the applicator contain of source of irradiation inside the cavity post surgery. Like this one is the, we do it for the breast cancer patient. So we open the breast, taking the tumor and put the applicator contain with the irradiation, with the resources of irradiation, and we can do it also for the brain tumor. Now, after we are talking about the X-ray, we will move to the particle. What is proton? Proton is the ionizing irradiation with the mass. The size of the mass is 1, but because of there is a mass, so it will stop in the certain distance from the surface. So it will stop there and lost the energy all there. And that's the reason why when we use proton, there will be no exit dose. And this is the so-called the isodose curve. You can see that here is the area of the body with the low dose of irradiation if we use the photon. Photon is the electromagnetic wave. But if we use the proton, so there will be no low dose irradiation in the part of the body. And another is, hopefully we will have proton. There are 2 proton will be installed in Indonesia right now, in Jakarta. And we will have also, I don't know, we will have or not, but just yesterday I heard that there is a possibility that we will have a carbon ions, the heavy ion. Heavy ion is, the size of the mass is 12 times than proton. So in the black peak, there will be a brighter area. That's why it will kill the cell in the higher than with the proton. So that's the irradiation. So if we have still time, I would like to just a short talking about what is the benefit of giving radiotherapy in the cancer patient. We know that radiotherapy is one important treatment in the cancer patient. And according to, we have a study under the IEA, I have the PI, and then we got the RTU, so-called the RTU is radiotherapy utilization. It is the number of patients have to be treated, number of cancer patients have to be treated, divided that the number of all patients. We got the number of 55. That means 55 from 100 cancer patients has to be irradiated based on our national protocols. So radiotherapy is clear, become important in the cancer treatment. Almost all the solid tumor can be treated with radiotherapy. You know that cancer divided into hematological and solid. And it is essential for cancer treatment with the different purposes and can be given from the baby until the very old man and in different location of cancer. And just only to show you, when we give the irradiation, so the local regional overall mortality as well as the distant metastasis and the recurrent will be significantly reduced in breast cancer. And also we can see here in the nasopharyngeal cancer. Nasopharyngeal cancer is one of the highest cancer in our region. Maybe in our cancer incidence is number 5. We can see also that radiotherapy will give a very good result for the nasopharyngeal cancer as well as for the prostate cancer. Now, how is the future of radiotherapy? the future is something related to the precision medicine. We already discussed about what is the precision medicine. I can give two pictures of the irradiation medicine. The revolutionary treatment that attack the cancer but not attack the body. That's what we already talking about from the beginning of this presentation. Physically, how can we really precise our beam directly to the target but not disturb the normal cells? But the second model is, one model doesn't fit to all. Okay, what does it mean? Because with the precision medicine, doctors use a patient genes to uncover clues to testing the disease. So it depends on the genes within the cancer in the body of the patient, so we will treat the patient. In the field of radiotherapy, there are two kinds. First, as I mentioned, we treat the cancer but not the body of the patient. But the second is based on the biologic. That's so-called that one will not fit to all. Yeah, for example, maybe it's difficult. I just want to show you an example. For example, how we treat the medulloblastoma patient. Medulloblastoma is the very aggressive brain tumor. In the past time, also this time, because the precision medicine is not yet widely used in Indonesia, especially it's not yet covered by national health insurance. So if the patient have money, they can pay by themselves, but the price is very expensive. The price for the examination, it is not yet the price for the medicine. And for example, the previous treatment, we treat the patients ratified based on the clinical characteristic and surgery result only, but now it's not. Based on the global consensus, it is treated according to the genetic and clinical characteristic. And as well also in head and neck cancer. There is so-called the P53, P16 is the tumor suppressor genes. If it is positive, so the dose of irradiation can be reduced. So actually we use already such a kind of mechanism to treat our patient. And also gene profiling for breast cancer, so-called the BRCA. The result is with the gene profiling, we can stratify the patient that can have a benefit giving the radiotherapy and target therapy or not. Because again, targeted therapy is very expensive and not all covered by the national health insurance. And this one also very interesting even, that we can stratify the group of patients that not need to be irradiated. Even in our protocols right now, in that condition of patient, breast cancer patient, early breast cancer after the breast conferring surgery, usually we have to treat the patient. But with 11 genes profiling, we can avoid the irradiation in that group of patients. And the last is the GARD. So the genomic adjusted radiation dose, so-called the GARD study, showed that the type of gene profiling can give the indicator how is the dose that can be given or should be given for the patient. So that's the future of the radiotherapy, still in the direction of the precision medicine, but not from the physical technology effect, but from the biologically effect, and not from the so-called the cellular, but goes right now to the so-called the genomic analysis. So as a conclusion, nuclear science and technology can be extremely useful for humanity, as you know, must be properly used, since nuclear energy is like a knife with two sides. One side is benefit and the other side is harmful. And the third is radiotherapy, of course, 55% of cancer patients need to be irradiated. And such an amazing thing to be able to shape radiotherapy, as I mentioned. Now the beam, like the light is the beam, and the energy from the beam can be sculpted, can be shaped according to the target of irradiation that have to be killed. And benefit of radiotherapy is clear. And the next, hopefully Indonesia, we will have a proton, and hopefully proton is sure because the bunker is already start the Cangkul, and heavy iron, I just heard last week, there is a possibility that we will have also heavy ions in the near future. And the last, there is no more. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Okay, now let's welcome our third speaker, Mrs. Luvivina Lanuza will deliver a presentation about development of strategic plan for the establishment of radiation facility. Time is yours.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to be back here in Jakarta. I think this is my third time. And I'm very happy again to make a presentation and to share the Philippine experience in establishing and upgrading irradiation facilities. First slide, please. I'll be presenting establishing and upgrading irradiation facilities, the Philippine experience. I'm Lubimina Lanusa, and I was the former head of the Irradiation Services section of the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. I retired during the pandemic years in 2020. It's an optional retirement. And I'm currently assisting a private company in the establishment of their 10 MeV electron beam facility. As head of the Irradiation Services section, I was also the facility manager of both the gamma irradiation facility and the electron beam irradiation facility. In the Philippines, actually, there are 3 irradiation facilities, not only 3. The first one is operated by the government, the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. So it has a multipurpose gamma irradiation facility and 2 self-shielded gamma irradiators, and also a 2.5 MeV electron beam facility. There is also Terumo, a privately owned electron beam irradiation facility, and I think they're using Rhodotron for the in-house irradiation of their syringes. And the last one, which I'm currently assisting, is a private company also who is putting up a commercial 10 MeV electron beam facility for contract sterilization services, so they can serve the industries. First slide, please. Oh, there. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so As I mentioned earlier, I would like to share the Philippine experience in establishing and upgrading irradiation facilities. So next slide, please. So this is the outline of my presentation. I will first be discussing the different irradiation technologies or radiation processing in itself and the different irradiation facilities in the Philippines. So as I've mentioned also, while we're waiting for the slides, we have gamma irradiation facilities and electron beam irradiation facilities. And after that, I will be discussing the different stages of implementing an electron beam irradiation facility project. Next slide, please. So, irradiation processing, which is a process of exposing products to ionizing radiation to obtain the desired objective, there are only three approved technologies. First is gamma radiation from either cobalt-60 or cesium-137. So this is a radioactive source, and gamma is highly penetrating, so it can irradiate high-density material. And we have two electrically generated radiation. So we have electron beam and we have X-ray. So when you expose target material to X-ray, to electron beam, then you can generate X-ray. So you can see the difference. For electron beam, you can only irradiate thinner or lower density material and thinner kind of products. But for X-ray, it's similar to gamma. You can also it can also penetrate thicker material. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of these three technologies? For gamma, since this is radioactive material, it decays at the rate of about 1% per month or about 12%. So in order to maintain the throughput, you have to buy cobalt-60 source at least every 1 or 2 years to maintain the current throughput of your facility. And as of now, there are problems in the supply of cobalt-60 sources and also in the transportation. There are also issues. For electron beam, so since these are electrically generated radiations, you can just turn it on and off and there will be no more radiation. So for gamma, you have to operate 24/7 to optimize the source because it continuously emits radiation, gamma radiation, if you are not using it. So the sources are stored at the bottom of the pool of water when you are not using it. For E-beam and for X-ray, you just turn it on or off. Okay, next slide, please. So this is the history of radiation processing in the Philippines. It started in the 70s using the dry gamma room, which is stored at in the research reactor. The sources are also in the pool of the research reactor. And there is also a gamma cell 220, which is self-shielded irradiator. So during those times, researchers were able to study radiation sterilization of medical devices, food irradiation using these two facilities. Then in the 1980s, the IAEA offered the Philippines a gamma beam 651 irradiator because this was initially intended for another country, but they were not ready to accept it at that time. So in 1989, the turntable type gamma beam 651 ET irradiator was installed and inaugurated. So this is used for pilot scale and for research and for pilot scale irradiations. And because of this turntable type irradiator, which I will show later, the industry also irradiate their products on a very, very small scale. So in 2008, this gamma beam 651 PT irradiator was upgraded to a 2-pass semi-automated tote box irradiator. And this is called PHI 5030-001-001K, or the Multipurpose Gamma Irradiation Facility. In 2014, in order to increase the competitiveness of the Philippine industry, we inaugurated the 2.5 MeV electron beam facility. In 2019, there is again another self-shielded irradiator, the Observo Gamma irradiator, which has a bigger capacity than the Gamma Cell 220 and higher activity. And since there is still a great demand from the industry, and since there is no commercial facility yet, we again upgraded this Gamma Beam 651 irradiator to a 4-pass, fully automated tote box irradiator. It was just inaugurated on November 6 this year, and it is already for commercial scale irradiation. And next year, there is this private company who will be providing contract irradiation services for food irradiation and medical sterilization using a 10 MeV EV facility. So it's now being installed. Next slide, please. So we go to the different irradiation facilities of the Philippines. First is the PNRI Multipurpose Gamma Irradiation Facility. Next, please. So this is the building of the Multipurpose Gamma Irradiation Facility, which also houses the 2 self-shielded irradiators I mentioned earlier. Next, please. So this is the first self-shielded irradiator, but the activity is now very, very low. In 1970, it's 7,770 curies, but as of now, it's only about 8 curies. The capacity of this irradiator is only about 2 liters, and this is mostly used now for blood irradiation and for mutation breeding and for other low-dose irradiation. Next, please. So this is the second self-shielded gamma irradiator. This is Observo Sanguis. And fortunately that we have this irradiator because when we shut down for upgrading the gamma facility, which took quite time before it was finished, we used this gamma irradiator, self-shielded irradiator, to irradiate other products of the industry, even if the capacity is only about 13 liters or maybe in terms of weight, around 8 kilos only. So the activity in 2019 was 12 kilocurie. As of now, it's only about 7 kilocurie. Next slide, please. So this is the gamma irradiator, which was upgraded twice already using the same bunker. So this first model, this was supplied by Canada, by Norjon of Canada. There are 4 turntables, 2 on each side of the source, which can be rotated individually from each other. So this is the turntable. So there will be 4-sided irradiation of the products. So the thickness is about 1.7 meters, and there are 8 individually operated source racks, which can contain about 16 pencils of cobalt-60. So this is a variable dose rate type of irradiator because you can vary the number of the sources that could go up or could be raised. So, but the distance is fixed in this position of the turntables. This can, we can irradiate about 1 cubic meter or about half ton, depending on the density on each turntable. There is also, this is the control console, which is housed in a control room. Next, please. So as I mentioned earlier, there are 8 source racks, which can contain 2 pencils on this source rack and can be operated independently from each other. So this is the source rack, and these are the 4 turntables located on each side of the source rack. Next, please. So when it was upgraded in 2008, this is similar to the Norjon's Gamma Fit type of irradiator, which is a 2-pass and semi-automated tote box irradiator. Next, please. So this is the tote boxes inside the irradiation cell. There are 14 tote boxes. So 3 at the bottom, 3 on top, and the 7th is here. And on the other side of the source, there are also 7, so the total is 14. Next, please. So these are the tote boxes in the storage area. Why semi-automated? Because these 14 tote boxes are being pushed manually in order to go inside the irradiator. But when they are already inside the irradiator, as you have seen earlier, that tote boxes rotates automatically around the source. Next, please. So now, in November 6, it was inaugurated to a 4-pass tote box irradiator, similar to this Norjon Gamma Fit irradiator. So now there are already 36 tote boxes inside the irradiator, and it's now fully automated. So the tote boxes doesn't need to be manually pushed anymore. Next, please. So this is now the new conveying system. It's already automated. It will go inside on its own. And this is the bunker of the gamma irradiator. Next, please. So now, it was also upgraded to 2 source racks, which can be operated independently from each other. The first one has 4 modules, and the second has only 2 modules. Or there are also 4 modules, but smaller one than the module of the old source rack. Next, please. So they call it now, because I was no longer with PNRI, so they call it Phil Gamma, which is a multi-purpose irradiator, upgraded to a fully automated facility, and you can see that Dr. Jane Abaya is here, was there last November, and the Deputy Director General of IAA, Liu Huan, I think. Sorry for the name. Next, please. So this is the summary of the upgrading of the gamma irradiation facility from a batch to a batch and continuous, from 4 turntables to a 2-pass and a 4-pass fully automated tote boxes, from 8 individual source rack to 1 source rack to 2 source racks, since there is really a big demand from the industry, since there is no commercial irradiation facility yet in the Philippines. And the volume from 1 cubic meter to 4, and then now to 10. The weight can be from 500 kilo to 1.75 tons, and now about 4 tons. And the source activity, the initial was about 30 kilocurie. In 2008, it's about, I think, 30. After 3 loadings of cobalt-60, it was back to 30, but we added 150 kilocurie, so in 2009, it became 180 kilocurie again. And in January, after another loading of 150 kilocurie, it is now 177 kilocurie. Next, please. So the funding sources for the upgrade of the gamma irradiation facility, the IAATC projects, also extra budgetary contributions, and cost share from the Philippine government. So for the upgrading of the facility, local funds were used for the upgrading of the building. Next, please. For the electron beam irradiation facilities, as I've mentioned while we're waiting for the slides, we have the PNRI 2.5 MeV, the Terumo, which is a Rhodotron type of 10 MeV electron beam accelerator, and this is the latest ISI E-beam, which will be inaugurated next year. Next, please. So just a brief background on our 2.5 MeV facility. So in 2004, PNRI identified EB technology in its science and technology agenda. And in 2008, IAA approved the 2009 to 2011 cycle of the first EB project, TC project, and it was extended in 2012 to 2013. In 2009, an IAA expert mission recommended the 2.5 MeV EB accelerator, and the training of EB facility staff commenced. In 2011, the approval of the local project was approved, and at the same time, IAA awarded the contract for the supply of the EB machine. In 2012, the construction of the bunker and the building started, and installation commissioning was finished by 2013. So it was inaugurated in 2014, also the completion of the building. And the routine operation started in 2015. Next, please. So the objective of the IAATC project is to establish an EB facility for R&D on radiation-induced polymerization and cross-linking to produce value-added products to increase the competitiveness of the Philippine industries. Next, please. So this is the electron beam irradiation facility in PNRI. Next, please. This is the bunker of the 2.5 MeV E-beam facility. Next, please. This is the cart conveyor system. So it's not a roller bed conveyor system, but a cart conveyor system. So the samples are being placed on the top of the cart. And in PNRI, we also manufactured or what do you call that? We were the one who initiated the design of this liquid handling system. So we are now irradiating plant growth promoter using electron beam at the rate of about 2,000 liters per hour. Previously, when we were using the gamma, at maybe the activity is just about less than 100 kilocurie, the irradiation of the plant growth promoter took about 4 days to irradiate about the same volume. But in the electron beam, we can produce about the same volume just for 1 hour. Next, please. So this was the visit of former IAA DG Amano in our facility. So that was me when I was still there. Next, please. So the funding sources for the EB also are from IAEA TC projects, extra budgetary contributions, and cost share from the Philippine government, and also local funds. Next, please. So can we show the video of the PNRI EB facility? So this is the cart conveyor system. We can irradiate wires and cables, and that is the handling system inside. So these are the wires and cables going inside the irradiation cell or the bunker. And since this is a cart conveyor system, we can put these product handling systems inside easily once we remove the cart conveyor system inside the bunker. And this is the scanning horn, and the accelerator is there. So when we use the cart conveyor system, putting the polymers or any other products on the top of the cart, then it goes inside. And exposed to E-beam. And goes out again if it is only a one-pass irradiation. So if we put a roller bed conveyor system, it's not easy to irradiate other products such as wires and cables or the liquid plant growth promoter. So for irradiating wires and cables, so there are holes in the bunker where the cables would pass through when going inside the bunker. So it will go out again after irradiation. So this is Ibitech of Korea. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. So this is the private company who is putting up a 10 MeV EB facility. So this is the first contract sterilization on a commercial scale for E-beam. Next, please. So as a background, this was a feasibility study was conducted in 2019, and since then, there was already a discussion with the supplier of the 10 MeV EB accelerator. So since this is private, they can easily choose their supplier for the accelerator. And the name Irrigation Solutions, Inc. Became a subsidiary of the A. Brown Company in 2021. So there was a groundbreaking in 2022, and the construction started last year. So it's almost finished, the bunker is finished, and the installation already commenced just last month, November. And it's supposed to be finished by first quarter of next year, so 2024. So Philippines will now have a commercial contract sterilization facility using electron beam. Next slide, please. So this is the perspective, this is the administration building, and this is the irradiation building, which also contains the cold storage facility and dry storage facility. Next, please. So the services that they will be offering is E-beam irradiation, cold storage also, and dosimetry and dose validation. Next, please. So this is the admin facility and the irradiation facility. Next, please. So this is the ongoing installation. So this is the scanning horn, and this is the X-ray converter. So when the electron beam hits this X-ray converter, then X-ray would be produced. This is the control room. This is the cold storage facility, which has several pallet positions. They also accept cold storage of products, even not irradiated. Next, please. So estimated throughput annually is about 20,000 metric tons. This is 15 kilowatt power and 10 MeV energy. Next, please. So this is the roller bed conveyor, and there is a box flipper. Okay, I will show you on the next slide. Next, please. So this is how the boxes are being flipped. So it goes here when the top position is being irradiated. Top position of the box is being irradiated, and then it will be flipped, and then when it goes back, the bottom position will be irradiated. So it's a two-sided irradiation. Next, please. So estimated throughput of these products is for frozen seafood, about 3 metric tons per hour, frozen fruits, dried fish, and herbs and spices, about 1 to 2 metric tons per hour. Next, please. So this is the timeline. As I mentioned earlier again, it will be inaugurated by next year. Next, please. So we now go to the stages of implementation and EB facility project. This is a typical stages of implementation. Next, please. So there are 5 or 6 stages. Actually, the planning stage is the preparatory stage, and then the pre-construction stage, construction, installation, commissioning, and the operation stage. Next, please. So for the planning stage, which will take about 1 to 2 years, maybe, it depends. So you will be determining why the need for irradiation facility, what's your purpose, what are the products to be irradiated, what would the dose that would be used, and what is the expected volume of the facility. So under this stage, you will identify the type of facility and what product handling system you're going to use. It should, whether it's a roller bed conveyor or a cart type conveyor, whether it's horizontal irradiation or vertical irradiation, and you will also determine the most strategic location of the facility and review the regulatory and permitting requirements. Next, please. So the milestones you should have identified during this stage: the location of the facility, the type of the facility, and you would be prepared the technical specifications for bidding. And the bidding should be also conducted during this stage, and the contract for the supply of the E-beam should have been awarded during this stage. Next, please. So I call this pre-construction stage or site development stage. So hopefully it will be finished in 6 months. So once you already have chosen or awarded the contract for the supplier of the E-beam, then the design of the bunker will be given by them within 1 to 1.5 months. And you should have conducted also site investigation during this stage. You should have also prepared the conceptual design of the bunker based on the design given by the supplier. And you should have also conducted bidding for the local construction of the bunker and the building. you should have already applied for regulatory permits. And if the regulatory body needs a provisional LTO before the construction can commence, it should have been approved during this stage. And at this stage, the manufacturing of the EB machine should have been started by the supplier after giving the design of the bunker. And for those auxiliary systems and other equipment that is not included in the contract with the E-beam supplier and is under the local scope, you should have begun also the procurement of these systems and equipment. Next, please. So for the construction stage, hopefully this will be finished in 6 months, but sometimes it can extend up to 12 months. The bunker should have been completed. The bunker should have been inspected and accepted by the E-beam supplier, because they won't be sending the E-beam accelerator until they have inspected and accepted the bunker. So the factory acceptance test would have been conducted during this stage after the fabrication was finished. And during this period, the staff of the E-beam facility should have been trained also on the different aspects for safety, quality, process control, and you could also prepare the operation and maintenance procedures. You can start it during this stage. Next, please.
Excuse me, your time is
Is
time.
up?
Yeah, it's up.
1 minute?
1 minute. Or
Okay,
One.
I'll just wrap it up, okay? For the installation stage, this is the E-beam should have been installed, the conveyor system, and also the building should have been completed. This is about 2 months. Second to the last slide, please. Next, please. For the commissioning, you should have done the commissioning, what we call the IQ, the OQ, the PQ, and the license to operate should have been applied and awarded. And the last slide. Next, please. So this is the operation stage. So now, you could now inaugurate and launch the full operation of the EB facility. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to discussion session. Because the time limited, I give opportunity for 3 questions. The participant who deliver question will be given book prizes. Yeah, that's one. So please mention your name and affiliation, and also the speaker that you asked. Please. Okay, 1, 2, okay, 3, okay, 3, okay. The Bob in the Zoom, one more in the Zoom. Okay, okay, first, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. And yes, my name is Yulianto from Indonesian Research Center, please. So may I ask to the all presenters, thank you very much for the opportunities. So the first, for the first presenter, would like to ask to you, Dr. Suichi, so far from your experiences, that how far the lutetium can give to the therapy to the big successfully for the patient. So I would like to know so far that all of the patients you have treated by the lutetiums for the cancers already finished with the problem with the cancer. This is the one question. The second question for Professor Hartati. So how look like the future prospect of the therapy by using the irradiation? It is really a big challenge for the nuclear technology to what is to lose the cancer problem in particular Indonesia. That we know that right now the growing of the number of the patient in Indonesia is quite extremely. So we need actually the best solution by using the nuclear technology. So the third question for you, the doctor from the Philippines, how is the utilization, real utilization by using the irradiator or electron beam in your country? It is a big interest from the industry to use it, the facility. This means because we know that the nuclear technology by the irradiator or electron beam is now not really popular in the industry. So how you what is implemented the relation of your providing technology to form the industry? Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I think directly to answer, please short answer, doctor, because the time is limited.
Yes, thank you for your question. In my practice, right now there are about 6 patients that finished all the course, and all of them have a clean lesion of the cancer in the body. So we have 2 types. After the first course of lutetium-177 PSMA finish, we can evaluate, and if they can go further, the result is not so satisfied, we can change to the stronger actinium-225 PSMA. And as I said that at least about 6 patients have all clean the cancer from the body, and we have about 40 or 30 patients on the program. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm a radiation oncologist, so I can talk something how to treat cancer from the radiation oncologist point of view. So this is already a number. 55.7% of cancer patients have to be treated with radiotherapy. That's already a result of the closing the gap project under the RCA, and we are 8 countries included, also Thailand and also the Philippines, and our result is 55% of our cancer patients have to be irradiated. But actual RTU is already 11%, is only 11%, so there is still a gap. Our availability of the number of radiotherapy right now is 27% of our needs. But you know that our Ministry of Health right now has a transformation in the field of medicine, included radiotherapy. So in 2023, we will add another, so from 93, the number of radiotherapy will be increased to 107. And the project is continue to 2024 and 2025, but totally there will be 158 linear oscillator in our countries in the end of 2025. So anyway, and all province will be covered by radiotherapy at the end. That's the project of the Minister of Health. And what can we do more? What can we utilize the equipment, utilization of the equipment increase? We can do something like several techniques like hypofractionation, but we have to have a higher technology when we want to do the hypofractionation, because when we, instead of doing irradiation for 20, 30, 40 times, with the hypofractionation we can do the irradiation 5 times, 10 times, maybe 15 times. So the number of patients that can be treated, the number of waiting lists will reduce. That's maybe the answer that I can right now.
If I understand your question correctly, the gamma irradiation facility, before it was upgraded, actually the industry is really clamoring for more volume to be irradiated, because we are just trying to demonstrate the technology to them using this gamma facility of PNRI. So we rotate their schedule. Sometimes we just give them once a week, or even if they want their products to be irradiated the whole month, we just distribute the schedule with the different clients in order to demonstrate the technology. So even if the gamma is now upgraded, it will still start maybe in next month, because after inauguration, they're still doing the operational qualification and product qualification. So there are many clamors from the industry that they want to expand the operation of their industry, of their businesses. But since we cannot give them more schedule than what they want, then they cannot expand their industry. Now for the electron beam, the 2.5 MeV is really not intended for food irradiation or radiation sterilization because of the low penetration of the 2.5 MeV. So it's more for polymer modification, except for the plant growth promoter, the liquid plant growth promoter, which we can produce at a rate of 2,000 liters per hour. Now, we also have Terumo, as I have mentioned earlier, but it is also for their own use only. It doesn't give contract services to the other clients. So it's timely that a private company has put up their 10 MeV facility. So hopefully, we can already address the needs of the industry for the large volume irradiation of their products, especially for radiation sterilization and food irradiation. Did I answer the question right?
Okay. Thank you. So I give you the book for you. Okay.
Thank you, Pak.
Okay, come. Okay. And next question, please the both deliver the question directly.
Yes.
Please mention your name and affiliation.
Okay. My name is Rafta Albira Putri. I am first semester student in electrical engineering. I am looking forward for my future research. I would like as from Siratori. I would like as from Siratori. Is there any prospective irradiation methods that specific for cancer or other disease on Asian people?
Okay. Your question for who?
Professor
Oh, okay,
Siratori.
okay. Thank you, thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the second question, please. Third question, yeah, sorry.
Hello, my name is Dewi Ayu Larasati. I'm first semester student in electrical engineering. I asked to Professor Lufimia, is radiation unsafe? Doesn't it leave any unsafe track on food?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for question, please, Ms. Lavinia. Yeah, for you, the book for you.
I'm sorry, could you repeat your question, please?
Is radiation unsafe? Doesn't it leave any unsafe track on food?
Could you?
The first question for the Ms. Luvivina.
Yes.
Yes. Please explain your question.
Is irradiation
Irradiation on food. Okay.
On food. Is radiation unsafe? Doesn't it leave any unsafe track on food?
Okay. It means the irradiation is safe for food.
Yes, food irradiation is one of the most studied technology, and it took many years to study this technology. And there are only approved sources for radiation sources, like I mentioned earlier. For gamma, only cobalt-60 and cesium-137. For electron beam, only up to 10 MeV. And for X-ray, up to 5, or in some other countries, up to 7.5. So this level of energies of these sources won't induce any radioactivity in food. So we can say that if you use these sources, it's safe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The first question, I think the second question from Putri for the Dr. Suichi, right? Yeah, please.
I'm not sure that I can understand your question query. You asked that about the protection of the lutetium-177 right?
Isn't it? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. From this, lutetium-177 is beta emitter for about 80 to 90%, and 10 to 20% emit gamma. So the gamma power is energy is very low, and so we need not to worry about the gamma ray. It's as low as a technetium. For the beta ray of lutetium, the beta ray can go around the point about 100 mammoth-cell. This is 1 or 2 millimeter around the cancer. So this kind of very specific and will not have enough energy to go out the body. So the patient who injected this kind of radiopharmaceutical can be checked for the radiation safety and can go back home without the admission. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I hope you are satisfied with this, with the answer. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the question. And I will give the book for as a gift for you. But because you are the youngest questioner, yeah, Putri and
Dewi.
Rahma, I give you 50,000 rupiah from my wallet. Yeah, the Bob, please contact me. Okay. Okay. Sorry ya Pak, Only the first semester, because the first semester we have to applause for them. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of this session. Before I close the seminar, this session, I would like to give the conclusion that nuclear science and technology can be used as precision diagnosis and therapy in the future with properly researched, especially for cancer disease. The advanced specialists of nuclear technology is urgently needed for humanity use. Okay, so I would like to thank so much for all the speakers for the informative and interesting, very interesting presentation, and also for the participant with the active participation. Hopefully, this session will be beneficial for everyone. Okay, thank you. I close with wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, thank you very much from the whole presenters. Could you please remain on the stage because we will give you a token of appreciation from the committee. And then the committee will give the certificates and also souvenir to the plenary speakers and also the moderator. We would like to invite Dr. Tita Puspitasari, Ibu Tita, to give a certificate and also souvenirs for the plenary speakers and also moderator. For the first certificate will be given to Dr. Suisi Siratori, Associate Professor in Faculty of Medicine, Siriraj Hospital, Mahidol University, Thailand. And then please the photographer to take the photographs. All right. Thank you for sharing with us. Okay, for the next token of appreciation will be given to Professor Dr. Suhartati Gondowiarjo. Thank you, Ibu. All right, and then the third souvenir will be given to Ms. Lufimina Jilanuza, the development of strategic plan for the establishment of radiation facility, International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, Philippines. And also for the fourth souvenirs will be given to our great moderator, Professor Apotheke Mokhtaridi, PhD, Head of Pharmaceutical Analysis and Medical Chemistry Department. Thank you once again. And then could you please make a photo session for together with all the participants, I mean the all of the presenters will have a photo session including Ibu Tita and also Pak Moderator. Please the photographer to take the photo. Ladies and gentlemen, please give big applause for the three speakers. Thank you once again for the very interesting topic today. Dr. Suci, Professor Suhartati and also Ms. Lufimina. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we finish with the first session for plenary speech. And we hope that the material and the discussion that we'll have finished will be very beneficial for all of us. Well, we continue to the second speech from Dr. Lee Min-chol, Chairman of Korea Nuclear Association or KNA, and Mr. Bob S. Effendi, MBA, Chief Operating Officer of Torcon Power Indonesia Company. And then the session will be moderated by Mr. Insinyur Ari Rahmadi, BM Ipu. But before I invite Mr. Ari, let me introduce him by reading the CV. Ari Rahmadi, PhD from BRIN. He focused on Rekayasa Madya, graduated from University of Melbourne, Australia. And he experienced in designing nuclear power plant AP600 and AP1000 investigate. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Insinyur Ari Rahmadi, PhD. Okay, Pak Ari, for the whole session, I'll give all of the time to you. Thank you. Yeah, okay.
All right, good morning everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ari Rahmadi. I work for the dulunya BPPT, ya, sekarang BRIN. Bapak Ibu sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Mr. Lee from the Korean Nuclear Association. Please come forward. As well as Pak Bob. I saw Pak Bob. Oh, he's going to the toilet. Pak Lee, would you like to sit for a while? Thank you very much. Welcome to Indonesia. Okay, Bapak. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Lee Min-chol, right? Your name. You are the chairman of the Korean Nuclear Association of International Cooperations. And welcome to Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lee will talk about the strong political leadership for nuclear energy. Is it right? So, Pak Lee, can you put up the CV there? Yeah, Pak Lee, Mr. Lee, going down, please. He graduated from the Seoul National University of Science and Technology and Professional History, going down. Yeah. He is now the Executive Vice President, it's very hard to read. Executive Vice President of KNA from the May 2023. Oh, it was recently, 6 months ago, right? Yeah, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Pak Lee for his speech. And before that, I would like to invite Pak Bob to come forward here. Welcome to Pak Bob. I know him very much. Silakan Pak. All right, please, the time is yours.
Okay, good morning and all the best to all of you. My name is Min-chul Lee, Vice President of the Korea Nuclear Association. Even though I am now in charge of the Korean Nuclear Association, my occupational or career background is neither mechanic technicians or engineers rather than the policy makers in the past. During the last 25 years, I was working for the Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Korean Ministry of Energy and Industry and Trade. So I was deeply involved in the trade negotiation, especially with the Korean-ASEAN Free Trade Agreement and the WTO negotiations and the climate change negotiations, something like that. So this is my fifth visit to Indonesia. So 3 months ago, I was also in Jakarta. At that time, I had a small meeting with the Nuclear Association of Indonesia, HIMNI. Could you, next slide, please? At that time, I had a small meeting with the HIMNI members. And yes, one of the HIMNI members, when I talked to him, was Dr. Marcus Wauna, and he gave me his book, Nuclear for the Prosperity and Peace. And we talked quite a short time, but he insisted with a firm confirmation that the most important single factors for the successful nuclear energy development and deployment would be strong political leadership and consistent government support. So I fully agreed with his opinion, given that the Korea's more than 60 years long history of the nuclear energy development and deployment. So the Korean history of nuclear energy dates back to in the middle of 1950s, right after the Korean War. The Korean War lasted 3 years between 1950 to 1953, and more than 3 million military soldiers and civilians were dead. But now the Korea is one of the superpower of nuclear energy. We have more than 25 nuclear power plants in operation and 3 are under construction, and we exported 4 nuclear power plants to United Arab Emirates. So my understanding is that Indonesia is recently, the government had more positively reviewing the introduction of nuclear energy, such as this SMR or the gigawatt mega nuclear power plant. So I hope that the Korea's the experience in the past could be good lessons to the Indonesian nuclear power plants. My presentation would be composed of the current nuclear power plants and the energy situation in Korea. And next part is the fathers of Korean nuclear energy and their activities to set the 3 pillars for the nuclear development: the government organization and the research institution and the human resource development. And the next part of my presentation will be the Korean government's consistent efforts and endeavor to localize nuclear energy industries. Then my last part could be maybe the introduction or explanation of our the association. Next, please. Yes, currently we have 412 nuclear power plants in operation around the globe. The number 1 country is USA. according to the statistics, currently 93 nuclear power plants are operating, but last year the figure was a little different. 99 were operating in the USA. That means this year 2 nuclear power plants were added to the USA, Vogtle 3 and Vogtle 4. But the total number of the operating nuclear power plants are decreased, means that I think this year 6 or 7 nuclear power plants were shut down. And in case of the Europe, I recently visited the United Kingdom. The UK government has a strong willingness or strong endeavor to introduce nuclear power plants. At the moment, 10% of the power generation are covered by the nuclear energy, and 45% of the powers come from renewable energy, especially the offshore wind powers, and 45% of the powers come from gas-fired power plant. But now in the UK, their plan to the net zero in 2050. In order to accomplish that target, the UK governments want to increase the share of the nuclear energy 20% in 2050. So now 2 nuclear power plants are under construction, Hinkley Point 3, and additional 2 nuclear power plants are planned. Yes, next please. Yes, in case of the ASEAN region, I think that there has been no nuclear power plant except one in Philippines, Bataan nuclear power plant, but it is not evaluated as the successful one. Okay, next please. So this is the operation and construction status in Korea. As I said earlier, we have 25 nuclear power plants and 3 under construction and 2 shutdowns. And recently, one policy report, according to the one policy report that was issued, I think 10 days ago, it suggested that in order to meet the target of the net zero in 2050 in Korea, the Korean society or Korean economy need more than 25 additional nuclear power plants. So I have no idea. As in Indonesia, nuclear energy is quite controversial. So I don't think that at the moment can project any possibility in the 2050. Next, please. Yes, this is the power generation energy mix by energy resources in Korea last year. As you can see, nuclear accounts for around 30% of power generation, and 32 or 3% by coal, and 27% of gas, and the renewables only 9%. So, for the Korean governments, coal-fired power plant will be phased out until 2035. And in case of the renewable energy in Korea, the quality of the renewable sources are quite poor. So among the renewable energy, in case of renewable energy, more than half of the renewable energy comes from waste and biofuels. And in case of the photovoltaic, 2 years ago, the installation capacity has dramatically increased. It was, I think, 5 gigawatt, but this year it has dramatically decreased, only 2.5 gigawatt. And you can see how fragile of Korean energy security. Yes, more than 96% of primary energy resources are imported from foreign countries. The import volume of energy sources last year, 190 billion US dollars, and half of them are importation of oil. And 190 billion of energy import volume is accounted for around 26% of total Korean import. Next, please. Yes, and now we can see the fathers of Korean nuclear energy. Many people say that success has many fathers, but I believe that the person on the left picture, the first president of my country, and the person on the right side, Mr. Walker Sisler, CEO of the Detroit Power in the 1950s. I think both of them are real fathers of the Korean nuclear industry's success. So in the 1956, Mr. Sisler visited Korea with the energy box. It's quite a famous story in my country. In the box, small amount of the uranium and a small amount of the coal inside. And Mr. Sisler said that yes, Mr. President, nuclear energy is digged or excavated from brain. So that is the best energy for Koreans with only limited the quality of the national resources. So the energy produced by the 1 gram uranium is equivalent to the energy burned of the burning from the 3 tons of coal. And Mr. President asked one question to the Mr. Sisler, that Mr. Sisler, how long does it take for Korea to make use of the nuclear energy in the future? And Mr. Sisler replied that with one condition, that is the strong political leadership and consistent policy the government support. It would take 20 years. And his expectation was exactly right. 20 years later, in 1978, the first Korea's nuclear power plant was operated. So in 1956, the president of my country, he set up the Office of Atomic Energy, and he signed agreement with the USA for the peaceful use of the atomic energy. And more than 200 students dispatched to overseas institutions. And the atomic energy law was adopted, and the Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute was established. And 20 minutes are allowed it to me? 20 minutes. Okay. Yeah. Next, please. Yes. This is the picture of the previous Korean president. We have, since 1945, right after the independence from Japan, until now we have 13 presidents. All of them, except one, has strongly support the nuclear energy. The only one exception is President Moon Jae-in, the previous the president. He strongly supported the renewable energy. And I think his energy policy approach was a little idealistic approach, I think. So in 2017 and 2020, the Korean nuclear industry had a severe period. For example, President Moon Jae-in stopped at the ongoing construction of the additional nuclear power plants, and he refused the life extension of the old nuclear power plants. But all of them, except one, they has the positive and strongly implemented pro-nuclear energy policies. Next, please. Yes, the fathers of Korean nuclear energy, they set up 3 key elements or key pillars. The first one is government unit, and second one is research institution, and the third one is human resource development. The person on the left side, he was the first chief of the atomic energy office. At the time, when he was inaugurated, strong opposition from the academic sectors, because he was not the scholar or researcher or mechanical expert. He was a three times member of parliament and the close aide to the president. But he was elected, he was appointed because the strong leadership is needed in order to get the budget or something like that. So he was entitled as minister level at the time. And the right side, you can see the Oregon National Laboratory that is located in Illinois in USA. Yes, lots of Korean students were dispatched to that laboratory. And the annual fee of that laboratory was $6,000 US. But in the 1950s, the GDP per capita in Korea was less than 100 US dollars. So huge investment from the Korean government. Next slide, please. And this is the opening ceremony of the Korea Atomic Energy Agency Research Institute. The president was granted the level of the vice minister, and the salary of a researcher at the institute was 3 times bigger than the government officials. And in the 1960s and 1950s, the total budget for energy, atomic energy was amounted to 0.6% of the total national budget. And the institute and the nuclear energy office, the members occupied 20% of high-ranking government officials. That is quite surprising, I think. Yes, next please. Yes, thanks to the Korean nuclear energy fathers, we successfully operated the first research reactor in 1962. And my understanding is that at a similar period, Indonesia has also operated the research reactor, I think. The left side picture is that the Korean president visited to the reactor, and the right side picture is the stamp in order to memorize the research reactors operating. Next, please. Yes, then first nuclear power plant operated in 1978. Having done that, Korea became 22nd country in the world to operate nuclear power plants. And the cost for the construction of the first nuclear power plant was 3 times bigger than the highway stretching from the capital of Korea, Seoul, to second largest city, Busan. Yes, and the Westinghouse, GE, and Combustion Engineering and British nuclear export executives were participated in the bidding process. And the final, the winner was Westinghouse. Next, please. Yes, now I want to briefly touch upon the Korean government's constant efforts and endeavor for the localization of nuclear energy industries, the design of the MPP and the nuclear fuel and the nuclear-related component. So the first design of MPP, we introduced 3 different types of nuclear power plants, 6 power plants from Westinghouse of the USA, and 4 Canadian nuclear power plants, and 2 French nuclear power plants. And then after transfer and acquisition of the technology, we successfully designed the Korean standard nuclear power plant during 1995 to 2015, and 12 Korean standard MPPs were constructed. And then almost 100% of the technological independence was applied, advanced Korean nuclear power plants since 2014, and 4 nuclear power plants are exported in the United Arab Emirates. So I think that one of the interesting story in the process of the designing of the MPP was the French nuclear power plants export to Korea. At that time, French government was quite angry because why Korean government does not import French nuclear power plant. So the French government threatened to Korean governments, unless Korean government does not adopt the French nuclear power plants, the French government is going to cut the diplomatic ties. Yes, it's a real story, I think. Yeah. So next, please. So nuclear fuel. We have two types of the nuclear reactors. One is the light water reactor, and the other one is a heavy water reactor. So the light water reactor fuel, the localization was started in 1985, and it lasted more than 10 years. With the technical cooperation of Siemens and Westinghouse and combustion engineering. And heavy water reactor fuel was also independently developed in 1985. But in the process of the development of the fuel, the Canadian company Candu requested license fee more than 25 million Canadian dollar. So Korean government refused that offer and started and initiated our own technology development, and we succeeded. Next, please. And the power generation component supplies. In 1977, the Korean government changed the economic policy to shift the economic structure from light industries to heavy industries. And 4 companies are at the competition for the power generation component supplier. As you know, I have no idea, but Hyundai, Samsung, and Doosan, and another one I cannot remember. But one company that was started from the state-owned companies, but the business performance was not successful. So the Korean government decided to privatize the company, and the company now became Doosan Enerbility or Doosan Heavy Industry. And the Korean government's led restructuring plan was operated from 1981. So Doosan Enerbility was selected as the single supplier. I think Doosan Enerbility now is aiming to become the yes, number 1 manufacturing company in the world, and it is now in close cooperation with Westinghouse or what is the SMR supplier?
New Scale.
New Scale and Holtec. Yes, next please. Yes, this is the localization history of Korea. As you can see on the left side, when our country started to construct the first and second, the nuclear power plant, at that time localization rate was only 9%. And then in the 1980s, the localization rate was increased to 30 or 35%, and in the 1990s, 74%. And now, and as you can see, in the 2010, 3 remaining key technology was big challenges for the 100% localization of MPP design. The first one is reactor coolant pump and the man-machine interface system and safety analysis code. But we could successfully implemented our missions. So now 100% we think that we can make our own nuclear power reactors.
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yep.
Okay, next. Next, please. Yes, this is the ecosystem of Korea's nuclear energy industries. KEPCO or Doosan or the other, the operation and service maintenance companies, you can, I have already briefly touched upon, but you can see the construction. I think 6 Korean big construction companies are involved in the nuclear power plants construction. Hyundai is close cooperation with Westinghouse and Holtec, and other companies are also deeply engaged in the construction of SMRs. Next, please. Yes, this is the whole picture of Korean nuclear collaboration framework. Government, regulatory authorities, industry, safety, utility, university, and R&D institutions. But let me just briefly touch on the universities. Now Korea has 18 universities which have the nuclear engineering faculties. And one of them is Korea International Nuclear Energy School, I think. That was set up by the Korean government. And in that university, more than half of the students came from foreign countries. And my understanding is that the one Indonesian student graduated the master's degree of that the school. So I think that the students in this hall or students who are watching this conference through online tools, if you are interested in learning nuclear engineering, please contact me or our association. I think you can get the permission to the nuclear engineering school for master's degree, and I think the scholarship is granted. Next, please. Yes. Last 5 years, we had a fluctuation in terms of the nuclear energy. So the incumbent president, Mr. Yoon Suk-yeol, he redirected Korea's energy policy in favor of nuclear. The number of nuclear power plants, he hoped that from 26 to 24 to 28 by 2030, and the combined capacity will be strengthened more around 29 gigawatts. Yes. So in the 2030, the share of the nuclear energy in the Korea's power generation could increase more than 30%, and we hope that the nuclear energy related small and medium company, the number will increase from 2,500 to 5,000 in 2030. Next, please. Yes, this is, how can I say, the why nuclear energy is needed. Yes, this is the GHG gas emission from the generation of the power generation from the a variety of the nuclear, a variety of the energy sources. Yes, you can see the nuclear produce more than less than 300 times less than the coal-fired power plants. Next, please. Yes, this is the explanation or introduction about our association. Our role is to breach or the window of the Korean nuclear industry for the incorporation to the global supply chain. So we from sometime invite the other countries, the government officials or the scholars or students in my country. So I think that the next year, I hope that the HIMNI members and Indonesian government officials or students who are involved in the nuclear energy, they want to visit. I hope that they will come to my country. Many thanks for your attention.
Give it up. Thank you very much, Mr. Lee, for the explanation of the success of Korean nuclear industry as well as nuclear ambitions. Now, the next one will be presentation from Pak Bob. Pak Bob Effendi, he was graduated from University of Bridgeport, right? Bridgeport in 1988. He is now COO of Thorcon Power Indonesia. As I know, Pak Bob was, I think you are fossil guy, right? He was working for the oil and gas, but now he is born again to be a nuclear and environmentally accepted industry. So, Pak Bob, please, the time is yours.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you very much. I'm not going to make presentations because tomorrow one of my manager, Pak Tagor, will be making a more detailed presentation of our plan. So today I would like just to make a short speech on the big picture and the visions of nuclear. So, first of all, before I start, it's a short speech, maybe about 6 minutes. I would like to first greet my very long friends. Number one is, of course, Dr. Susilo Widodo, the chairman of HIMNI. Second is, of course, my long friend, Professor Jarot. I think he's here, and his beautiful wife, Dr. Geni. I think she's also here. Yes, we just met several days ago in Bandung. And of course others here which I know some and cannot say one by one. And of course Dr. Ari Rahmadi, which I also know from BPPT before, now in BRIN, yeah? BRIN, everybody's BRIN now. And of course this distinguished Dr. Lee Min Chol, right? Is that, I got your name correct? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, first of all, I would like to thank HIMNI, University of Pamulang, and Iconsta 2023 committee to invite me into this wonderful event. Allow me to introduce myself, even though Pari already said that I'm Bob S. Effendi. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of PT Thorcon Power Indonesia. We are the only nuclear company operating in Indonesia, planning to build our first of a kind 500 megawatt molten salt reactor power plant in South Korea, Mr. Lee. And as independent power producer with a target electricity selling price competitive with coal. Hopefully, as Indonesia first nuclear power plant with a target commercial operation by 2030. Having said that, let me say that this HIMNI second annual meeting and Iconsta 2023 happened in a very momentous and historical time in the nuclear history. Let me say why. Number one, I can confidently say that the time is coming for a second nuclear renaissance, which the nuclear industry and experts all over the world have been dreaming and hoping for the past 3 decades, right? History will mark that 2024, which is just a few weeks away, will be known as the year that the nuclear industry is resurrected and nuclear is put back on the table up front, not only in Indonesia, but also the world for several of these reasons. Firstly, it was just announced yesterday, several days ago, in COP28 in Dubai, that 22 countries have signed a nuclear tripling by 2060 pledge. This pledge was pushed both by the US and UK and many other developed nation countries Among them, of course, South Korea. Thank you very much, Mr. Lee. Of course, you have the nuclear industry there. You have to push for the pledge, right? But more interestingly, among all the developed nations there are non-developed nations that also signed the pledge. Among one of the interesting countries, unfortunately Indonesia not among one of them, right, is Ghana in Africa, Morocco, and Mongolia, right? So these are very interesting because they are countries in Africa, right? Now, of course, this is part to achieve net zero emission target. This is the first time in COP history, I think, right, that nuclear is part of the discussion. It means that if it is tripling by 2060, there should be a close about 800 to maybe optimistically 1,000 nuclear power plant operating in the world, or around 25% to 30% from current 11% of global energy mix. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen, if this happens with a big if. This second renaissance, which will lead to the creation of hundreds of new nuclear startups, companies with newer, more advanced reactor design. This will challenge for regulator around the world since most regulations are based on light water reactor. Additionally, thousands of high-paying nuclear jobs will be created across the world, including Indonesia. And more research grants will be awarded to universities that have nuclear physics and engineering program, which I hope UMPAM will have soon. And of course, nuclear NGO, such as HIMNI, will play a pivotal role in bridging the industry with regulator, making sure that energy and nuclear regulation will act as stimulus for nuclear industry growth. Definitely, the next decade will be very exciting for nuclear. It is obvious why this is happening. The US and UK and several EU countries have finally come to their senses that you cannot run your economy, industry, or even your home on energy that depend on unpredictable weather just because they are clean and cute. No matter how much you wish or dream or even put as much money into it, but the physics and the law of thermodynamics just go against you, so it will be a guaranteed failure which will result in a blackout and at worst economic contraction, which has been shown in 2021 economic crisis that happened throughout Europe. Thank God, science and common sense has won. Secondly, in Indonesia, also will be coming to a nuclear renaissance after more than 3 decades of back and forth planning to build nuclear power plant. Finally, now, the government, through the Ministry of Energy and National Energy Council, along with the Parliament, has agreed that nuclear is a necessary component to achieve net zero emission by 2060. The current energy policy in place, which is Government Regulation number 79, 2014, which put nuclear as the last options, is currently being revised, which will put nuclear as part of the energy mix currently discussed at around 7% of the total energy mix by 2060, which translates to 50 to 54 gigawatts of nuclear power. That means Indonesia will need around 150 small modular reactors. That's a lot, in about 38 years. The bulk of the mix, around 70%, will still be renewable energy, and there is still around 20% still coal, but either with CCSU or co-fires with ammonia or biogas to total generation to 600 gigawatts in 2060. This is from a current 75 gigawatts of generation dominated, about 68% is coal. So the question becomes, if Indonesia have a nuclear power plant, will Indonesia become just another nuclear power user, or Indonesia will have a nuclear industry like South Korea, which developed its industry in about 3 decades, am I right? In 3 decades, ladies and gentlemen. So meaning, by the time we reach 2050 or 2060, we could have a well-developed nuclear industry. If South Korea can do it, why can't we do it? Don't be ashamed to applause. This capacity of target of 600 gigawatts by 2060, which will means Indonesia need to increase its capacity generation fourfold, from about 4 gigawatts per year to about 16 gigawatts per year. This is a challenge, and it's never been done in history of Indonesia. This is why we need nuclear. Big capacity. It is evident when applying to common sense that if you phase out coal, which provide dependable power at any time of the day, known as dispatchable, can be constructed and operated anywhere close to the demand, and of course cheap or cost effective, then the replacement should meet the same criteria. I mean, it's just common sense, right? If you replace something, the replacement should be in the same criteria. Otherwise, you pay other stuff to meet that criteria, right? So this criteria, meaning anytime, anywhere, cheap, and of course, in the light of climate change, it needs also to be clean. I believe this criteria among developing countries is universal. Anytime, anywhere, cheap and clean, right? So imagine a coal power plant with clean energy, right? Dependable, reliable, dispatchable, but clean. And of course, need to be cheap. This is the primary reason why countries like China and India are resisting to phase out coal. And it's also explain why Germany continued to increase its coal purchases after the stop of Russian gas supply, because it is obvious the German can replace gas with intermittent sources as they want us to believe. They can't, and you can't. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the harsh reality when the principle of physics and economy converges. That if you cannot replace coal, that can do anytime, anywhere, cheap, with a clean energy, with the same criteria, then any developing country worldwide will continue to prioritize inexpensive, albeit environmentally harmful energy to sustain their economies first, right? Unless other rich nations are willing to bear the additional cost of transitioning to clean energy, right? Somebody need to pay. But I doubt that none of the rich countries want to give a free money. There is no free lunch in the world, ladies and gentlemen. No matter what the rhetoric in COP, but the reality, it is not a free money. In fact, it's a loan attached with many hard conditions. Now think about it. Anytime, anywhere, cheap and clean power plant, right? Is there any clean energy sources that meet this criteria currently available now? Just think about it. Think about it first, right? Anytime, anywhere cheap and clean, right? I mean, there's no. Currently, there's no available, right? Nothing available yet. To make things more complicated, it is also needed to be fast deployment, meaning because we have this target from 4 gigawatts, we need to build to 14 gigawatts per year, imagine. So it means that this energy source, this power plant, which is non-existent right now, need also to be fast deployed. In fact, it need to be less than 30 months from construction to commissioning. That is why I call this energy miracles. It is a miracle. Indonesia and the world will need to have this energy miracle to replace coal to achieve net zero emission. Anytime, anywhere, cheap, clean, and fast. I'm here to announce that Thorcon has the solution. We can make this miracle happen, and we are making it happen by 2030. So having said that long introduction, now let me tell you something about Thorcon. We are developing what we call a molten salt reactor technology to supply the clean, low-cost, dispatchable electricity that is so urgently needed today. There are many features of our molten salt reactor plant that make it inexpensive. It uses low pressure, its greater thermal efficiency, its simplicity in design, and so forth. The real challenge here, not how you design the product. It's not how. Anybody can design a product. But the challenge is how you design the system that built the product. It's not about the design. It's about the system that make the design happen. Okay? But how do you build a nuclear power plant inexpensively? Quickly and scale up the process so that clean, dispatchable power can be made available on a global scale in time and to have significant impact on climate change. Whoever can come up with the answer to this question not only will be helping humanity and planet, but they will also gaining alliance. Want to have it a global impact that is needed. The best is self-sustaining economic, meaning that it needs to be economically competitive, because if you very expensive and you base your business case ban on subsidy, then it is not economically sustainable. In our case, we have identified a system for building our nuclear power plant inexpensively, quickly, right? You know, we target about 12 months for 1 gigawatt plant, and massive scale large enough reality to make global impact. For Thorcon power plant, that system already exists. That is in a modern shipyard, and we are planning to build it in a shipyard in South Korea, Mr. Lee. In earlier incarnation of Thorcon built, owned and operated ship in early 2000, we ordered one of the largest ever in terms of deadweight new building program. 8 ships in total will build. 4 were the largest double hull tanker ever built, and 4 were slightly smaller. We are industrialists, and we understand and know the shipyard and how to deal with them. The first rule is to make sure your project is designed to be built by a shipyard, right? A yard is immensely productive facility with panel lines, plasma steel cutting, robotic welding, block construction, sophisticated logistic control, well-trained workforce. The amount of work that a modern shipyard can do is truly amazing. Even more so, the short amount of time which it is done. However, this only works if your design is structured to be built with the yard technique and system. Yards are very good at what they used to be doing, not when you ask them to do something out of the ordinary, right? From the start, we designed our plan to be built in a modern yard. All of our structure are very similar to those oil tankers. We then asked Hanwha Ocean, formerly DSME, where we built the largest ship. We look at our power plant design and supply an estimate of what it would cost for them to construct. They complied, and their estimate confirmed our internal projections, meaning that our cost has been confirmed by the shipyard. Right? So it is a combination of well-designed product and well-designed system to build that product at a scale that allow us to achieve an electricity cost of a whopping only 2.9 cents per kilowatt hour. I claim that probably the cheapest power plant ever at 2.9 cents per kilowatt hour. Of course, there is the cost for constructions, right? Not the cost, the price that we are selling electricity. Right? At this cost, we can provide dispatchable clean energy at a price that will satisfy both our customer and our investor. So currently, we are engaging the government and under discussion with the nuclear regulator, Bapeten, in preparation for a licensing process, which we target will start in less than a year's time. So by early 2025, construction will start in South Korea shipyard, and by 2027, the plant will be towed to Indonesia in a remote island 32 kilometers offshore, then fueled, and criticality will happen by 2028. So we hope by 2029, we already can license by Bapeten, and then another year to get the commercial operation by 2030. This timetable is in line with the National Energy Council target of 2032. If we can achieve this, not only we have proven our case that nuclear can be built cheap and fast, but also a win for Indonesian nuclear regulator because they are licensing the first of a kind in the world. This is a challenge, but most importantly, a win, a historic milestone in Indonesia civilization that Indonesia has finally become a nuclear power country, walking proud and tall among other nuclear power countries, right? A vision which has been laid by our founding father, President Sukarno, more than 60 years ago. If Indonesia want to be a great nation, it needs to master nuclear and space. And indeed, after we have a nuclear power plant, we will be a great nation towards our 100-year independence in 2045, where Indonesia will operate more than 100 nuclear power plants and will make Indonesia second largest country that operates nuclear power plant in the world, and will be the center of excellence for advanced nuclear, and that's my vision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Bob. It was inspiring speech, actually. Thank you very much. Okay. So, Bapak Ibu sekalian, anak-anak, we have a question and answer, yeah? The first questions, I would like to invite the one from Zoom, and Ibu, there are three actually, there are three questions. Majority are, well, pro-nuclear, majority are pro-nuclear. However, Pak Dede Apriana, he questioned about the nuclear waste. Will there be a problem? Okay, and secondly, another one. I know that the nuclear will be more beneficial compared to solar, water, and other more environmentally friendly sources. However, what about the waste again? And thirdly, from Wisda Fauzan, he's asking about the safety. Okay, is it safe enough? Is it the culture of Indonesia ready for nuclear waste? So I guess Pak Lee and Pak Bob, could you please answer their questions? First, about for you, Pak Lee, yeah? Yeah.
Yes, nuclear energy, as I said in my presentation, is quite controversial energy, especially from the more negative or pessimistic viewpoint.
Yep.
Yes, people point out the problem of waste management and safety issues. But I think that technology could solve those problems, I think. For example, in Finland, the Finland government is now constructing the permanent, the spent fuel, high-level waste management, the system. And in my country, also the special law was submitted to the National Assembly in order to build the permanent, the management site. So I think that the waste issues or safety issues, but let me say that the most urgent challenge facing our human mankind at the moment, at present, is climate change. If we do not tackle or we do not hesitate to combat climate change, more 50 years later or 60 years later, we are going to face the catastrophic disasters. So you can find out the balanced approach, I think. And maybe I was told from the Indonesian colleagues that the Jakarta is going to be inundated within 30 or 40 years later. So you are now moving your capitals. But I don't think that kinds of things happen in 30 years later or 40 years later. But nothing is perfect.
Yep.
So everything has the bright and darkness. So our job or our mission is to handle the dark side of the something that is the nuclear energy, and then we encourage the bright side of the nuclear energy. That is our mission for next generation. I think so. Yeah.
See, do not be afraid to tackle the dark side of the nuclear. Yeah. Yes. What about you, Pak?
Okay, thank you very much. So I'd like to answer this by very just common sense, right?
Okay.
I mean, I've been doing this for almost 10 years. So, there's nothing changed. The questions is always Fari, yeah? What about the waste? What about the accidents? What about Chernobyl? What about Fukushima? What about radiation? Those are the frequently asked questions, nuclear, right? So let me answer all of them, right? All of them, yeah? So nobody answer again. In a very common sense. I mean, these questions, ladies and gentlemen, has been asked for decades, right? So again, I'd like to point out that in Indonesia, that the DPR, the Parliament, Minister of Energy, National Energy Council, right, has been decided that nuclear should be in the mix. So this debate has been going on for more than 30 years, right? 30 years. And, if you imagine these three institutions, meaning this debate happened within about 200 to 300 people asking about exactly the same questions. So we don't know what the debate was, right? But definitely, whatever the debate was, the conclusion, nuclear should be in the mix, right? So, I mean, we just use common sense, meaning between the DPR, the Parliament, and the government and National Energy Council, and all the experts and the NGOs have debated it, and the answer is that, yes, there is an answer, and seems that it's not a problem. So this is just the common sense, right? So this is not a new question, Eparia, has been asked for many, many years. This is the easy way to answer it. The second easy way to answer it, I mean, without going into detail, I mean, just using common sense, right? Just using common sense. If there is a country that should be afraid and very paranoid about nuclear, right? it should be Ukraine and Japan. Am I not right? Right? Because in Ukraine in 1986, right, Chernobyl happens, right? I mean, probably the history said that it is the largest nuclear accident, the worst of its kind. But let's move forward, fast forward, right? After Chernobyl, I think there is a big debate whether nuclear is safe, what about the radiation, what about the et cetera, right? There is a debate there, right? But whatever the debate was, Ukraine keep on building nuclear power plant. In fact, currently, almost half or even more than half of Ukraine energy mix is from nuclear. How that come? Please tell me. I mean, don't you think they debate these same questions, right? What about the waste? What about the radiation? What about the accidents? In fact, they have their own accidents, right? We never had our own accidents, right? So, I mean, this is just a common sense approach, right? So, again, with the same with Japan. In fact, currently Japan has started all its nuclear power plant, is planning. And in fact, according to the survey, right, current survey, that now there are more Japanese are in favor of nuclear. That's a fact, right? So, but to be a technical, right? To be technical, I'm talking about technical now, right? We have to remember all economic activities produces waste, Paria, everybody. So there is no such thing as any economic activity that do not produce waste. Nuclear waste, because of this highest energy density, is among the smallest. Ladies and gentlemen, it is among the smallest. If you look at Google, the numbers is 1/200,000 of the industrial waste. I mean, this is over 200,000, right? I mean, over the industrial waste. So I don't see nuclear waste is an issue. And Dr. Lee has already explained that we have strict regulations and regarding nuclear waste. Am I right? Right? Very strict regulation, in fact, in Indonesia. So nuclear waste was never an issue, right? Furthermore, I'd like to point out there is a debate also in EU in 2020, 2021 regarding this issue about nuclear waste. The debate was because there are what they call the green taxonomy, right? So having a taxonomy considered to be green, meaning that you get green funding. So the debate was between the countries that uses nuclear power, like France, right, Ukraine, and other nuclear country, which apparently, if people don't understand, about 50% of Europe is actually from nuclear. I mean, 50% of the clean energy from nuclear, right? So the debate was the nuclear countries want to have this green funding. So they said, hey, we are green also. And there was a debate. Of course, Germany think because the waste issue that, hey, you are not green, you have waste issue, right? So you have safety issue. Okay, so what they did was in 2021, EU had a study commission, right? This is a EU study commission. I forgot what's the study title, but you can Google it, right? The keyword is EU Green Taxonomy Nuclear. Please Google it, right? So the result was of the study that apparently it is not an issue. It's all been answered. And the conclusion says, if I'm mistaken, something like this, that nuclear waste is as the same as any other waste, like something like that, right? So please look at it. So again, like I said, it is a non-issue, I think, because it's small, it's contained, it's managed, it has strict regulations, right? So if there is an issue, the nuclear, just Google nuclear green label or green taxonomy, right? So in 2000, because of that study, a 2-year study, nuclear in 2022, I think, or 21, got the green taxonomy label.
Okay.
So that is a common sense approach in answering without going into technical detail. Thank you very much.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, do we have any questions from the floor here? Yes, you and Ibu, and another one from that side. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is UC Yulianto from National Research Center. So my question to Dr. Lee, of course. So, Dr. Lee, you have given us interesting information regarding your development of your power generation by nuclear in your country. Starting in 3 decades here, you have already produced a lot of power number, or 30%, yeah, of your power generation by nuclear. So my question is, what have you done actually for your communication with your government, with your publics, so that you make a very big, impressive for your stakeholder, nuclear stakeholder, that make sure that the nuclear is very important for your country, and then everyone sure that nuclear will bigger role in your country for your development of your energy. So please give me such as what have you said to them? Then the country is sure that nuclear is very important. Thank you very much.
Wait, Ibu Gani, monggo Bu. All right.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you for both very good speaker for your information. I want to ask to Dr. Lee from the KNA. You mentioned about the net zero emission carbon, and then you mentioned also how the strategy of the Korea to achieve the net zero emission carbon on 2035. Korea has a roadmap to phase out the coal power plant, of course. My question is, so what will you do with the phase out power plant location? So will Korea demolish 100%, or is there any plan to build the NPP on the previous site of the coal power plants? If yes, what is the regulation approach? Because of course the Indonesia also maybe has a plan to use the previous coal power plant and build the NPP on there. This is my first question. And the second question also related with the Dosang, or the biggest and beautiful manufacturer company in the world now. You also already mentioned about the previous president of the Korea do not afford 100% of the NPP activity or something like that. So what is the Korea's strategy during that one? And now we realize that Dosang company is the very biggest, and every country who are dealing with the NPP, such as the Russia and then United States also, they make a cooperation with Dosang. So Dosang is the very biggest and very key company who are moving or who are afford the future NPP in the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Bu Gani. Yes, you. Can anyone help him to get the speakers? Udah coba, cuma satu doang ya? Sebentar aja ya, satu aja Mbak. Ayo Mbak, ini Mas. Ayo. Ini satu aja ya, cepat ya.
Selamat siang. My name is Muhammad Risyanggoro from Electrical Engineering, third semester. what do you think about the step to dump nuclear waste into the Pacific Ocean, sir?
Simple. All right. The question, is it directed to Mr. Lee? Or, okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Lee. All right, Mr. Lee, the questions are all for yours. All right, then. How can you communicate with your people?
Yes, the first question is related the public awareness in Korea towards the nuclear energy. I think that one of the risk in the Korean society about the public awareness in towards the nuclear energy is the politicalization of energy policies. Nothing is perfect. And I believe that the renewable energy is best option. And I think that the nuclear energy is second best option at this moment. But renewable energy has its own limit. So anyway, in my country, the government ministries or nuclear societies or nuclear industries are constantly contact with the Korean stakeholders or Korean people. So I think now I think that more than 60% of the Korean people, they support the nuclear energy. And last year when I visited Kazakhstan, the Kazakhstan government recently announced that within 6 months or 7 months, they are going to have the national plebiscite, national referendum for the adoption or not adopting the nuclear energy in the future. And according to the Kazakhstan government officials, at this moment, the pro and cons of the nuclear energy is 50-50. So the Kazakhstan government officials asked our association to arrange the Kazakhstan journalist possible visit to my country, and the Kazakhstan journalists want to look around the Korean nuclear facilities, and they want to deliver that kinds of things to the Kazakhstan the people. And the second question is about the phase out, the gradual phase out of the fossil fuel, the coal-fired power plants in my country. Yes, in Korea now we have around 55 coal-fired power plants in my country. And I think the Korean governments, like the USA governments or other governments in the Europe, we have the idea and the plan to replace the coal-fired power plants into the small modular reactor, SMR nuclear power plant, I think. But it's up to I think that the economic consideration should be given, and if CCUS, the technology of CCUF rapidly developed, I don't think that we don't need hurry to phase out the coal-fired power plant. So, but I believe that we can get some solution in the near future, I think. And another question was about the Doosan Heavy Industry. Now its name was changed into the Doosan Ability. That company's motto or slogan or aim is to become global foundry company in the nuclear sectors. So they are now making the main component of the gigawatt large-scale nuclear power plants, and the component for the small modular reactors. Now I think 5 countries, the supply chain for the nuclear power plants is quite competitive. China and Russia, France and Korea, and I think USA. But USA, when I had a meeting with Westinghouse, the CEO of Westinghouse in Korea told me that Westinghouse is not further engaged in the construction. So engineering, procurement, construction, that is the combination of the EPC, but in terms of the construction of the nuclear power plant, I think the USA has a little, how can I say, the weak point, I think. So that means Doosan has global competitiveness in making the reactor or the, reactor or turbine. But I think the French and China and Russia has also that level of the global competitiveness. I think so, yeah. And the last...
Mr. Lee, the question from the lady was, can it be directly converted, the site from coal-fired power plant to be nuclear power plant, or do we have to? Oh yes. Bisa dipakai langsung, Bu. All right. And the third questions about the dumping the radioactive material into the sea.
It's quite the huge political and the social, the controversial in my country 6 months ago when the Japanese government decided to release the treated water or contaminated water. I have no idea. But I believe the best available technology of present days. So IAEA, how can I say, approved the level of the contamination of the treated water that was released into by the Japanese government. So my government's official position is that if the regular check is needed and regular check or verification is needed, and if the verification result is not satisfiable, Korean government does not support the release of the treated water or contaminated water. But until now, I had no the media coverage that there has some problem. Yes.
So
and
there is no adverse effect of the release of the water into the sea. Are you saying that? Are you saying that things? Okay. Jadi gitu ya, Mas. Tidak ada efeknya. Give him applause. Okay, monggo, silakan.
Let me add something about the tritium release. I think before its release, we have to remember that it got diluted.
All right. Okay.
It got diluted. I mean, from the numbers that I seen, right, the tritium diluted before it got sent to the sea is because we have to understand, tritium also exists on the seawater. So it is not a foreign substance. So there is tritium in the seawater, right? So when I look at the number after the dilutions, it is way less even in the level of the current tritium in the oceans. So it is less, right? And then this dilution process, it goes through many dilution and it is controlled by, like Mr. Lee said, by IAEA and then controlled also by the Japanese government. So I don't think there is a problem there, right? Because people think because there is no tritium in the sea, but in fact there is tritium in the sea. You know, it's just the level are different. If they did not dilute it, then it could be a problem, right? Okay. So, but it is diluted, and the level of the ppm parts per million in the diluted water is less than the tritium in the sea. So, simple questions, a simple answer. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, adik-adik sekalian, give them applause, ya. Pak, terima kasih. Thank you very much for your kind presentation. And I would like to give this mic to MC, ya. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and give big applause for the two presenters here. Well, I would like to inform you that this conference very enthusiastic because very many students from Zoom meetings also reacted to this conference, and then so many people, so many students would like to ask and then raise the hand, but unfortunately we have limited times, and then it is already 12 o'clock and maybe 12:30. So perhaps we can continue for next, or maybe for the live or online participants, you can ask your question or give the question to the committee. Okay, please remain at the position, and then we give the book for the three presenter or three questioner here. Bapak mau memberikan atau bagaimana? Okay, so we have 3 books here, 3 souvenirs for someone who asked the question to the presenter. And then the second also from us, yeah. And then Ibu Prof. Geni. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the first session for the plenary speech. And then the 2 presenters here, please remain the same on the stage. I'll give you the token of appreciation, and I would like to invite Bapak Dr. Susilo Widodo to give the souvenir and also certificate to the plenary speakers. Please welcome Pak Susilo Widodo. And the committee, please have the giving the token of appreciation. For the first certificate will be given to Dr. Lee, Chairman of Korea Nuclear Association. And please the photographer taking the photo. And then the souvenir for Dr. Lee. Once again, we thank you very much. And then the second presenter will be given into Bob S. Effendi MBA, Chief Operating Officer of Tokcon Power Indonesia Company. And then also the certificate and also souvenir. We thank you very much once again. And then the last certificate to moderator Bapak Ari Rahmadi PhD. Okay, for the next, please. Yeah, we have photo session for the 2 presenters and moderator, and including Bapak Susilo Widodo as the chairman of HIMNI. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the 5 presenters that already discussed and also give to us the very awesome presentations. Well, all right, our respected audience. The next session will be parallel presentation or oral presentation, which will be held after the break time. And then we have divided the parallel presentation or oral presentation into offline presentation for 4 rooms in the nearby area of this teleconference. We kindly inform you to be ready for oral presentation at 1 p.m. after the break time as the schedule attached. And then also, we also inform you that we have an exhibition at the front of teleconference. Please visit HIMNI and also PT Nuklindo Lab booth at the front of teleconference. So don't forget to visit the booth to see how they are looking and then all the product of they are presenting and exhibit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our dear colleagues, respected participants and all audiences, now we come to the end of the first session. We hope the conference fascinating topic will be valuable to us. And we hope that this conference will continue support to gain our interest on nuclear science and technology. Once again, we thank you very much for your fully attention and appreciation. We do hope that this event will be beneficial for all of us. Ameka Margianti, thank you very much. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Once again, we would like to inform you for the presenters, you must be ready at 1 p.m. So at least you have 30 minutes to break. And then be ready for present your oral presentation at the schedule attached. Thank you very much for the committee, and we'll be ready at 1 o'clock. And then we will still have the second day for the conference tomorrow morning. We will start at 8 o'clock. At the same time also, we will invite 3 speech and also the parallel presentation. Thank you.